That is how Colonial, it came through mission work. By the time they woke up, it was already colonization time.
Oh, so they were already preparing for a strong military, but
so
unfortunately,
they didn't prepare themselves to fight.
Ama wale watu wapole tu wenye mtu tu ni mpole tu naturally, yani yeye hata angalia future yake.
Generosity vitu.
Nasikia walikuwa nakuja huku vitu tunawapatia mpaka mama mapaipai wanaenda.
Si ndio walikuwa wanakuja hapa tunawasaidia kuload the ships.
But si pia kuna ufala.
Nawapatia, naambia shika timber, shika your gold. Because first of all it started with what? Exploration.
Oh, before the real drama began.
Then invasion came later.
But at that point tungewa arrest. Tungeambia hapana, hapa usikuja hapa bana.
But you've given me 25 questions. We're going to explore all of them.
I know, you don't have to be all of them. It's not written on stone. I'm trying to look for you in Nangami, and I can't find you. So it seems like...
block direct.
Yeah, block. No, are you able to just look for RIBA SASA and say hi?
Block.
RIBA SASA.
I've blocked RIBA SASA.
Just say hi. Because as the home of the greatest innovators in...
Mko live. Psycho live na hata tujaanza.
We're already live.
Yeah?
On RIBA SASA we're live.
Ndio inaonyesha ya live.
Yeah, it's good. We are trying to I'm trying to invite you so that you as the
Oh, ni unatembea na nini?
Niko na hii. Yes, ida niko nayo hapa bwana.
Ndio naona tu ina point.
Nasikia kwa nimeweza kualikwa nao na RIBA SASA kwa wako live, so mimi pia nimeweza kukubali mwaliko.
Do you have another an extra one? Kama hii niweke yangu.
Oh, like this one? Yeah, that one, where is it?
The phone holder.
The stand. The stand. So this is RIBA SASA show, the home of organic and most constructive conversation. You never get it any better anywhere else. And today we have the Empress herself, Queen Nangami Masakha. That lady does it like the real example of excellence. And if you wanted to know what excellence means, then Nangami Masakha is in the building, in the building. Oh, yeah. So yes, use this. Queen Empress, you'll be able to use this, huh?
Oh, okay. So invite me, so that I can.
You want to invite her?
Can I also use my nini? Let me take. Oh, you have a lapel I can use.
The lapel is here. Is there?
Oh, it's here. So it can pick.
It is.
Sound iko sawa.
The sound is okay.
Okay.
I've pressed here. I don't know whether. So you're good. Technology. So I think even myself I was invited. I don't know whether I've joined. Have I joined from the other end?
There are 3 viewers. Who's that?
There are, from my side, there are 4.
Ama mimi sasa niingie tu live on
my. Nangami, I can see Nangami is already a viewer here. Okay, I've accepted. We will now invite Nangami.
I accept.
You also accepted? Wow. And I think Nangami should give us the secret on how you become that excellent and you end up looking that amazing. So I think your volume yako basi utaipunguza.
But it's speaking hivi yako.
Yeah.
It's speaking heavy on the camera. Ebu simamisha hivi juu. That's better. Yeah. But it's only picking me sasa.
No, let it pick her. But mimi niguze tu kidogo. Tunajua mimi si nini sana.
Nyuma sasa mimi imepick words.
Ndugu watazamaji, ni mimi tu. I think I can also help you do this so that can the camera zoom?
Hivyo ndio mtu anafanya. Mimi hata sijui nini umefanya. I don't even know what that is you've done.
What that's done. See, that actually can serve you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. By the director, that looks good.
Is that okay now for you?
Yeah, that's good enough. Even for me.
Yeah. Then for me, let me see. Never get it better than that. So Waafrika waliweza kulalia masikio pale, na baada ya kulalia masikio tena wanakuja kulalama eti kuwa labda tena mali zao zinaweza kuchukuliwa. Lakini Nangami Masakha kuna maoni tofauti. Najua yeye mwenyewe ameweza kuangalia hizi mambo haya kwa kina sana. Na kwa kweli anajua kuwa tunayosema huenda kuna ukweli ama uongo kidogo ndani yake pale, lakini ile cocktail ambayo ni ya kimataifa ambayo najua kwa muda mwingi. Kiswahili sio mdomo chetu.
Nasikia tu.
Nasikia unatwala tu polepole, unatwala peke yako, unaacha watu wengine nje. Na ile wakati pia ile wa koloni, kuna watu ambao walikuwa wanaingia ndani unatwala tu peke yao. Wanatuacha sisi wengine hatutwali.
Hamtwali.
Sasa ni vyema zingine tunatwala pamoja bwana wa Afrika wenzangu. Ikifika wakati wa kutwala tunatwala wote. Director, are you ready? Okay. So Nangami Masakha, welcome so much. This is a RIBA SASA show, the home of organic and most constructive conversations. And our agenda today is we just want to look at slavery.
Okay.
On how it occurred in Africa. And there are some people who say there's an extension of the same, that Africans are still slaves to this day. What's your take?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the question is...
What's your take? Some people say that Africans are still slaves to this day. Yeah.
Africans are still slaves because we don't feel like we have control of everything. Yes, we have agency, meaning that you have the power to remedy things. But to some extent, to some degree, we are still slaves in some way, because if you're still exporting materials out and then importing finished products that are very expensive, it means that we don't have the means of production. We have resources that leave us, and yet we are still poor. So it means that someone is controlling things at a financial and even political level. So we don't have a say in so many things. So yeah, we are still sort of slaves.
Is there a country in Africa that look like is overcoming this kind of a trail so far so good?
Okay, maybe we can. We have had countries like Libya, but obviously now Libya is in shambles. Yeah. Then we are waiting to see what Traore is able to do.
What do you mean, Traore? Why are people actually applauding this guy that much? What has he done?
With the things that he's doing, we can give him time. I've not been to the country, obviously, but with the things that I've seen online, the decolonization, especially of the minds of the people, he is fostering. Because you see, development is not just about what we can see the roads. Because even here in Nairobi, we have good roads, we have skyscrapers, but we still... umeanza umwami umenakusikia inakuja
kama wewe ni Sifuna basi wewe.
Mimi ni Sifuna.
Kwa hivyo unasema mtu anaweza kajenga barabara lakini bado anaua tu.
Yes.
So you're saying that Traore is trying to help in decolonization of the minds.
Yes. So and I think that's one of the first steps of doing it, instead of just saying, we don't see the roads, we don't see the hospitals, we don't see the schools. So with the amount of work that he's doing, I think that's good. Okay,
personally I find it so cosmetic, as in when people are applauding Traore, and you see the Africans who are colonized just basically because we didn't have a strong military in place at that time. We didn't prepare enough. If to this day the SASA that Traore is holding is still manufactured from a different country other than Burkina Faso, then there is nothing that Traore is doing. What do you think?
I think that is being unfair.
Yes.
Because he needs time. He needs time. We talk of the United States, but the United States is what? Over 200 years old since the independence. So they've had time. We have had. Let me bring in the idea of America. Yes. The United States of America, we have read about the men who built America. The Rockefellers, the JP Morgans, the Carnegies. You see, those are people who came in for years, the Fords. These are people who for years came in, had owned factors of production, obviously used slaves to build the nation. And so they have had 200-year head start. So for them to rise to become the superpower. So for someone who has just come in for the last, maybe 2 years, I think we're being too harsh.
2 years. And through a coup.
We're being too harsh because we know that now almost everyone is against him. And so he's going to face a little bit of resistance. So I think it's a bit unfair to expect that he will just come and miraculously be able to
solve the problems and eventually have everything in place.
And have everything, the manpower, the resources, the finances. Because Africa is where it is because you don't have the money, you don't have the finances. Even if you were to set up a manufacturing plant here in Africa, you will still need some sort of Western support and money. Because
we don't even have enough power grid, by the way.
Yes, and you don't even have the power. So even for you as an individual, if you wanted to build something, you need a lot of money to do that. Now, unless you're coming from money and you already have that money to buy acres of land, to have manufacturing plants, to hire staff, and the rest of it, you need money.
And that the rest of it would mean that you also budget for a small bit of corruption.
For because you need to have you need to be able to pay people here and there to push your things.
You think we start from the MCA of that area you've purchased land. Kula yako kidogo ndugu yangu.
There's a time that Dangote
I heard of that story.
He wanted to come set up something, but the kickbacks were too much. The kickbacks were too much. Couldn't start the process. Was half the price
the project.
So you see, and you see at that particular point, you cannot blame the colonialists. You cannot blame slavery. We can only blame ourselves. And you see, those are some of the things that have been left behind because we have the.
It has been planted in us to behave like that.
It has, and it's because you have the crab in a bucket kind of mentality. Crab in a bucket. So every time you see
keep pulling themselves down,
you keep the other one down. You keep the other one, and then we also always have fear that if you have gotten the tender, then you have taken all the opportunities for us. So everyone will try as much as possible to milk you dry.
So now I wonder the reason as to why many countries in Africa today are deconstructing. Why is so?
Deconstruction. Okay, I can see. Can I interrupt?
Yes.
I can see people saying there's echo, so I don't know what we can do. People want to hear. How do we? Yes.
There is echo. We can.
So I don't know if we mute our personal accounts so that we speak with an account.
I think so. Yeah. We can do that.
So I mute mine also. Okay, Africa. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for the correction.
Okay. Now,
Is
is
it
it
okay?
okay now?
And
Maybe we can ask them whether it's okay.
Just twist the phone a little bit. Yes, perfect. That's perfect. Yes. Okay, Africa says it sounds good. Thank you so much, Africa. Appreciate it.
Okay.
So you're asking...
You're saying it's all good now?
Yeah.
So my question was that now, many people actually, many of the African countries today, there's a lot of deconstruction conversations going on, and I think it's doing so well. Why so? Why now?
Because you see, deconstruction is not about rejecting God.
Yes.
Deconstruction is the idea of questioning the version of God that you have been given.
Okay.
And most of us are questioning that version because if you can use your critical thinking, there are certain things that now do not make sense. Institutional structures, people are questioning the interpretation of scripture. You don't know how people can be able to ask the question without the fear of having to be told that you cannot question. So we are asking the questions how can we say that someone came from a rib or women came from a rib? Or, you see, and there are very many questions, especially for the Abrahamic religions that are prevalent in the continent, that is Christianity and Islam.
Yes.
There are also people who are deconstructing Islam, only that perhaps that is taking a little bit of time and it's not prevalent on the internet.
Why is this so? Why is it taking too much?
It's not too much time. I have met people personally who are deconstructing Islam, but it's still not a safe space compared to Christianity. Because you see, with some people, they feel like Islam can get very violent, especially from the custodians
so intolerant
of it.
more than the Christians.
Yes, so there are people who are deconstructing from Islam, but very, just behind the scenes and are doing it quietly compared to Christianity, where people can wake up, put on their microphone and just begin to speak, or the lens of their camera and begin to speak.
Yes.
But deconstruction is just about questioning the idea of God that you've been given, the version, the place of women in religion and in spirituality, the fear that has come with the concept of a God, the shame that comes with it. And even especially as Africans, there's a lot of shame, the stripping of our identities. Was it necessary that if you are to give us the version of God, were you supposed to strip us of everything, our names, our language, our culture, and everything else?
But then you find that Nangami Masakha seems not to be so attractive. You have to be called something like probably Rachel Mercy. And somehow we've been taught to believe that Mtai Ngunyi name is not complete. Yes, until there is maybe a Mwai Kibaki, there must be Emilio somewhere.
And that is why people are every day, and I want to make this point, why people always compare Christianity or even Islam, but let's talk Christianity. They compare, because Christianity is the one that came with colonization and slavery at the extent to which it did. And it's because Christianity, in as much as it came through the missionaries, it came through a colonization lens. What we have in Africa, it's true that Christianity was in Africa before slavery, obviously, and colonization, in parts like Egypt and Ethiopia. But for people to say that Christianity started in Africa, sometimes it's just being too overambitious. Because we have 52 countries, to be honest. If out of 52 countries, only 2 or 3 nations had Christianity, you can't say that Christianity was in Africa. It wasn't even in half the countries, one. And then not even a quarter of the countries had Christianity, number one. Number two, then the question becomes, the Christianity that we practice today, is it the original Christianity? No. The Christianity that is practiced today is imperial Christianity, the one that came through empires. Which were the empires? The Roman Empire and obviously the British Empire. So even the people who brought Christianity themselves, even the missionaries, they came from a place where, they were here to serve and they were here to do the Lord's work, but they still felt they were superior. And that is why their Christianity came from a place of Western civilization. So if you wanted to be a Christian, first of all, we had to change your name. Because if someone invades your territory and then they make you feel, if someone comes to you and says to you that your language is inferior, your God is inferior, your culture is primitive, your education is backward, and then they tell you that, okay, our God is superior, our education is perfect, and our civilization is it. Even Africans themselves, at that point, that is what they've been talking about, what Bob Marley talked about, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. At that point, even after the white man has left, it doesn't have to do much.
We still had a problem, I guess.
It doesn't have to do much to colonize the African's mind. Because they will do it by themselves.
But Christians seem to be so tolerant, even though we are saved by grace. Is so rampant out there. Why is it that on the Muslim side, there is nothing like we are saved eye for an eye. If you wrong me, then yet on the side of the Christians, somebody can, like whatever you see in the Nigerian movies, and a movie starts very well, somebody violates all the principles that actually puts the humanity and the social order together, but at the tail end gets saved, and to God be the glory. By grace, that person is saved. Yes. Oh, can you compare the two religions? And also put ourselves what actually we're supposed to do in terms of deconstruction and get our freedom back.
No, the two religions have different modus operandi. Same ancestor, because the ancestor is Abraham for the three Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Islam is like this youngest brother. So the eldest brother is Judaism, then Christianity, then Islam. Islam is like the smallest brother of the three. I want to say step brothers, but they are from the same father, who is Abraham. But they have different parts when it comes to the expression of their beliefs. So that is why for them, they don't have a savior, they don't have a messiah, they just have the ultimate power and also a prophet. So
and they believe in Isa.
So they believe also that, you know, Jesus Christ existed, but he was a prophet. He was not like the Messiah. And then Muhammad was like, you know, God's messenger. You know, so obviously they have a different way of viewing religion. So they may not necessarily have grace. They don't need to have grace. You see, grace is the thing that was brought by Paul. Jesus never talked about grace. It is Paul who talked about grace. Because Paul, when he was coming to meet the Christians in the communities that they were operating within Judaism. So when they came, people who practiced this Christianity were in the Judaism circle. So these were the people who said, there was a man who walked, he was a Jew, his name was Jesus Christ, he was powerful, he used to do miracles. So for you to join it, it was just within the Jews. But then when Paul comes in and says, by the way, you don't need to be a Jew, you don't need to be circumcised, you need grace. So he's the one who brings the concept of grace. That is why people say, oh, we are saved by grace. There's nowhere, mention a place where Jesus is speaking and saying you're saved by grace. It's Paul. So Paul is the one who comes with the concept of grace. So if Paul is coming with the concept of grace, then it didn't exist in the Jewish or in the... That's why there are two different teachings. That's why there are two teachings. There's the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of Paul. Yes,
do they contrast?
They're very different. And you see, let me tell you, you see, when we look at history, you have to look at history from who's writing the history, for what and for whom. Now, this is Paul. You say Paul has never been questioned. Paul has never been questioned. This is a guy who has been persecuting the Christians for years. People are dead. And you see, because of this grace thing, nobody questions Paul and says, where is the justice for the people you were killing? For like the people that you were killing, what happened? Those people used to persecute. Kina Stephen. Stephen, remember the stoning of Stephen? Kina Paul were responsible for like things like that. So these people who have died, and then Paul, you just come and say, oh, you met Jesus.
So for him, he was bringing it actually to benefit him.
Yes, and then Paul comes and says, I met Jesus. He spoke to me. Nobody can confirm. Only Paul can confirm. Number one, Paul is writing even before the like we've mentioned. Paul writes before the disciples write. Paul's writings are almost the earliest Christian writings. So before Mark, the way Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are positioned is wrong. You were supposed to start with the letters of Paul or the writings of Paul. The teachings of Paul come first because Paul writes in how it is documented. Paul wrote before even Mark writes. Paul writes, I think 40 something AD. Mark is written 70 it's John. It is written 70 later. So it's written later. So the writings of Paul are supposed to be the first ones. But obviously with the way, you understand context for where Christianity was supposed to go. But going back to you, so grace is something that was brought about by Paul. But then again, you ask the question and then Paul now just begins to say all of these things about Jesus. And then he says the Spirit inspired. And there's nobody to question. Everybody's going to question and say, okay, you say that you're inspired by the Spirit. Can we confirm? Do we have...
As in, you just take it for his word.
You take it for his word.
So, walk us through on how Christianity was introduced to African as a colonial tool?
Okay, so we can say that Christianity existed. Obviously, we know. The Orthodox Christianity existed, first of all, in Ethiopia. But even as it comes to Ethiopia, because people usually like to go back to Ethiopia, as Christianity comes to Ethiopia, it comes through the kingdom of Aksum. It's not. It does not start in Ethiopia, to be honest. Does not. It's not about argument. It just takes a little bit of typing words. How did Christianity start in Ethiopia?
Or you can just be able to
search it. And the scholars have done the work. It came through the kingdom of Aksum by some Greek, I think it was Greek missionaries. They brought it to the kingdom of Aksum, then it was adopted, it was accepted, and it's practiced.
But for them now, the intention was pure.
Yes, it was just to invite this new religion, the rest of it. Because Christianity starts in Judaism. And Ethiopia at the time, Africans have always had different spiritual systems. So how did Christianity come into Africa? Yes, for the two countries that are known, mostly Egypt and Ethiopia, they came through the interactions. And you can see why. Because they are literally there where they are connected to the Middle East. That's why it makes sense. That's how can it come? How is it convenient that Christianity can come to Ethiopia? And the Ethiopians don't bring it to Kenya. The Ethiopians don't take Christianity to Uganda.
They didn't have a means of transport.
Yeah, probably. They didn't have the means of transport. So they didn't take Ethiopians. It didn't take Ethiopians if it was a natural thing. At the moment, because I think it landed in Ethiopia 4th century CE or something. It landed in Ethiopia. If it landed there and it's something that Africa needed to experience, it would have spread like wildfire on its own without the white man coming into the picture. So the colonizers come into the picture when they approach the imperial Christianity that we have. What we practice in the sub-Saharan Africa is imperial Christianity. It is not orthodox. So when we say imperial Christianity, from the word imperial, it is coming with colonization bits into it. It's coming from a place of faith, but also from a place of colonization. So that's how it lands in Africa. So how does it happen? First of all, we have explorers. So the explorers come, and this is why they have identified Africa, they have discovered Africa. We know that Christopher Columbus was going around, they had been sent, by the queen or the kings to go and search for lands. There's lands beyond Africa. And all these other nations, So they come, they explore. So when they come, they explore, then the invasion happens. The invasion happens through what? Through the missionaries. So they go back and say, hey, we have gone and we have made savage land. This land is invaded by savages. The way they look, the way they dress, the way they wear, they speak primitive language. They have primitive and crude, firearms and the rest of it, but they have resources.
Also, they don't have...
That's what they want. That's why they go up. That's why we have all of these things in, I think, in Mombasa. We also have one in Mombasa of this explorer. I've forgotten the name of the explorer who was... Vasco da Gama. The Vasco da Gama. So they come and that is why now they come. Even when I was in Uganda, I don't know who came, and that's why they found like the Victoria Falls. These things had their local names. Now they branded them. I don't know. We have Lake Albert. We have Sijui Lake Victoria. Sijui all those names that were given by these people who came and they're like, we found these things, but okay, we cannot understand that Ugandan name. We're going to give it by the person who identified or the person who discovered the waterfall, the lake, but these things already existed, right? So they go back. As they go back, there's a lot that is happening. Then there's the partitioning, but the missionaries are coming. There's land. Okay, so that is why we say that the missionaries are the ones who came later to bring this new gospel, to bring this word of truth to the savages and whatnot. But as they're coming in, the Africans are like, okay, you're bringing us new spirituality, you're bringing us a new God. It's cool. These people come, they are praying, they're holding their Bibles on their chest, very harmless. So nobody, and you see, the thing is, African spiritual tools, for years, of close to 200 years, the spiritual leaders always went to the kings, the chiefs, the kingdoms to say, danger is impending. There's danger that's coming. There's someone who's coming and they're going to take over this land. But when that person shows up, the people who show up, they show up as explorers, first of all. They just come, they see the land. They didn't
look like a threat.
They didn't look like a threat. They are taken to the kings, and people are, and the villagers are following them back because they look different. They're white. So they look different, and everyone is... You remember even back, like as far back as... Not far back, as just recent as 20, 30 years ago. In the village, if there was a white man, we would run after the white man and their cars, chasing at them. We just want to stare.
Some was a conditioning of the mind.
Yes, and because they looked different. They looked different.
Yeah.
So we just ran after them to just look at them like,
is it normal?
Is it normal? Like and then the hair, they had different hair, the rest of it.
Yeah.
So with the way they came, obviously when you come into a territory where you're taken to the chiefs, you're taken to the kings to be introduced, they say, we have no problem. For us, we just came to, this land to observe. Take us around.
Yeah.
And they give you people to take you around. So you're taken around, you're told, this is our waterfalls, this is our lakes, this is our land, this is our gold, this is our this is our women, these are men, this is our way of life, this is our spirituality, this is how we worship. And those guys, what did they have? Books.
They were taking notes.
Yeah. So as they are taking notes, they take notes. And when they go back, because Africans are generous, and we are generous, even for us when you go home, your mom will give you maize, vegetables, matoke, bananas.
You see? We left it off.
Mike, eh? So they will give you, Africans would give you things.
Yes.
We will give you things to go back with, even when you go home, or anyone you visit. Even if you visit someone here in the city, the idea usually is to give them stuff to carry back home. So what did our people do? They gave them things to carry back home. They're like, we have timber, we have the little gold, we have this steak. And it is Africans who carried those things
and loaded to the ships.
And loaded to the ships. Yes, and loaded them to the ships. And then these guys came and say, by the way, you can have a gun. This is a gun here. You can do this. Okay, all right. We have brought you maybe leather. We have brought you this. There was like exchange. So it felt very...
What did they give out? Some guns?
Yeah. They came with the They came with the powder guns. They came with, I don't know. I don't remember, but what I remember was the guns. But what they carried, it's the typical thing that they say when you go to the village, you bring 2 kg sugar, but when you go back, you're given you're given a chicken, you're given sorghum, maize, and for you what you brought was 2 kg worth of sugar.
Yes.
And that's the same thing that happened.
Okay. Yeah. So,
and that's the same thing that happened to us. Like what they brought was the 2 kg, and then what we gave them was everything that we had. We're like this because you see, Africa wasn't capitalist at the time. That is why when they talk of Mansa Musa as being one of the richest men, they say he would rival Solomon. It's because that Mansa Musa used to walk around with gold and he would just give it away. Like everywhere he went, you just like his emissaries and his entourage, they just had gold and they would bring you lots of it.
Don't you think that maybe it was just too much? And, eventually, it never had the value.
Yes, it was too much.
Yeah.
And we were not exploiters. We were not exploitative because for us, how we lived with nature, how most you see. Let me interject with something. Let me introduce you to something.
Yes.
We say that it is men who create gods, or it is human beings who create gods. And we create gods depending on our realities.
Okay.
So the desert people, because now when you look at Christianity, the Israelites, the Israelites are a traumatized lot. Always in exile. I don't know, they have been exiled. They have been captured as slaves.
Yes.
They have been, I don't know, there's what territory that is attacking them.
Wamekapitia.
So they needed to create a vengeful God because their reality was always of trauma, being captured, being invaded. So they needed to create a very just God, and that's why
the same way it's happening today.
That's why they created the concept of heaven and hell. That even if we suffer now and we are captured, there's something after this life that is going to give us now the streets of gold and pearly gates and honey and milk, because their reality was harsh. And if these people who are committing these injustices to us, they will go to hell. There's a place where they will.
At least you have some relief through.
So you have a relief to your current experience, and then they created a very powerful fighter. So God was always a God of war, a warrior, because they needed a warrior. They needed a God.
About the Yahweh of the time.
Yes, and that is why Yahweh is like the God of storm. They call on, and that is why even Christians today are like, God fight for me, because Yahweh presents as a warrior, as a fighter. If you're going through things, you're just like, God fight for me. My enemies fight.
Yes.
Because these desert people, they're always fighting each other. So they needed a God of war, a God to fight, a God to give justice. But when you look at Africans and you look at all other spiritual systems, the Eastern spiritual systems, they have peace. So they don't have gods of war. And that is why in Africa or other spiritual systems, they also have reincarnation. Like, this is a very beautiful place. You can also come back.
Yeah, sure.
You want to come back. Because it's such a beautiful place. They did not have that commotion. They were always staying in peace, one with nature.
Yeah.
So for them, God was very calm.
Yeah.
God was that's why people ask, but why did the African gods fight? Because the spiritual system of the Africans was not of fighting. And even every other spiritual system you look at, it's like the Buddhist. You see now the Buddhists have, like, when they believe in Buddhism, it's a very God that's very conscious.
Yeah.
So it's about going back within, meditation. So they don't have war.
Yeah, sure.
They don't have war. They have this idea that there's all is one, and you see.
Yes.
So that is the kind of God that people create depending on the society in which they live.
Or the circumstances around you as
Yes. So because Africans kind of God was in nature, that is why Africans, if they needed help, they go to nature. They go to mountains. We have the Kikuyu facing Mount Kenya. They go to mountains. They go to waters. The Luos, water. They are very much water children, and that is why for them, dreams. Luo people are very good with dreams. Like, if not all, but for the majority, most information for them will be through dreams, because water. And then there are people agriculture. So others it was agriculture. So they are very much earth.
Yes,
earth oriented, oriented to earth, and they do things libation, earth, and the rest of it. It depended with how you experienced God.
Yes.
Yes, and that is why even now when the missionaries are coming in or when the colonizers are coming in, we don't go to war unless someone has attacked. That is why even when you see the Maasai, when they go to war, it is when someone has invaded, someone has come to take your cattle. And if someone steals your cattle, you don't go for their land. You don't go for their women, you don't go for their children, you just go for your cattle.
And you take your cattle
you get your cattle and come back. And whoever is standing between you and your cattle, those are the only people that you deal with. Right. So colonization then is able to happen because when these people are coming in, they are very harmless. Even though the spiritual systems, the Zulu, the Kosa, the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Bukusu, the Luo, the Nandi, they all have their systems, their spiritual, their priests and priestesses who are going to kings and saying, Africans, you need to stay alert. There's someone who coming and looking like this, and is going to terrorize this place. But the person who comes, first of all, is an explorer. They come, do their thing, leave. People are like, you told us those people are coming, but from the way they came, they were very peaceful. Then who comes next? The missionaries. And the missionaries come, they come with their Bible, holding the Bible to their chest. We're very good people. You can even give us land. Kings are like, oh, you land. Okay, you can build your church there. Go and build your church there. Before they know it, the colonizers have come. Africans wake up and realize we don't have land. Wait a minute. We gave our land away. Now the whites are the ones who have occupied the highlands and whatnot. People no longer have the issues. Now Africans have to go and fight afresh. Hence the Mau Mau and all these uprisings now.
But you do think that this spiritual revelation should have been complete? You tell them that somebody actually who is coming to attack you will be looking like this. The first phase will be this. The second will be this. And be careful because the third one will be thorough. This is how it will look like. It's something comprehensive.
I think, maybe, I don't know, at the time, but maybe if they would have specified that the first people will come very unassuming, the second bunch very unassuming, but the third lot, the third people who are coming are going to come with ships, and those ships are going to be full of guns.
Yes. That is, it should have been something like that. That's something that the kings can take serious. But if you say that, yet you see now the threat, the threat look like.
But I don't think even the Africans would have taken it because Africans are very benevolent. Naturally, we are benevolent.
But at least let it be there. Let me document. Let it be there.
And I think maybe it would have been documented, but because we're also very good at passing down information through word of mouth, then certain things that might have been
probably
there,
some
but were
of the
not
things might have
documented.
slipped
Even our
off,
own African philosophies, our own African philosophies have not been, documented, and that is why Africans have to. What is it called? We have to legitimize our own African knowledge through the lens of a Western university.
Yeah.
So even for the people who are looking at us right now,
it is true.
Unless now the white man comes and says the concept of ancestors is real, as Africans will not believe it.
Yeah.
Unless the white person comes and says, by the way, spirit exists. No, Africans would not take it. Most Africans, obviously, would not take it because it has not been legit. That is why, even when we talk, for instance, I was in Uganda and we were doing the Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving in our African practices because and it was so mind-blowing to me that there are so many Africans who didn't even have a grasp of what we were doing. So I'll give you an example. We gave back to land and we gave back to water. We can give back to air and fire. But because we were working with land and water, we are close to a water body. Because we know that our ancestors, according to our indigenous knowledge, it is recorded, at least this we learned in school, that during harvest, what would happen? They would give back to the gods of what? Fertility.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, it was the goddess. The goddess is the one who was involved with fertility.
Is the goddess?
Yes.
Not the god.
Not God. Because you see, our spiritual systems had balance, the masculine and the feminine. So if it was war and whatnot, gods, because strengthening. That's why we have Thor and then we have Zeus and. Zeus's girlfriend or wife I've forgotten her name. Zeus had, a consort. So gods and goddesses have always existed.
Yes.
And these are not like real gods. It's just energies that have existed. You see, water has existed before people knew.
Yes.
There's things that are about water that have existed. People will just call them different things, spirit, by ancestors, by gods. And that's why the Yoruba have the Orishas.
Yes.
Oshun, Yamoya, Shango, and all those Eshu, they have all that. But it's like the energies that remedy that. So anyway, back in the day, your fast fruits, which still happens even in church. Like when people get the fast fruit, what do? They take their money. They're like, this is my salary. I have to take 10% of it and take it to church. But when you look at Abraham, what he did, what was it doing? It was the harvest of the land. And where would you take it? You would take it to God.
So for through us, an altar or something like that. Yeah.
And to us, the land that has given birth, like it's say for instance, if you do something nice to me, and I walk away, even Jesus was like ashamed. Like, I healed you people and none of you came to say thank you.
It's only this one man.
It's only this one person.
Yeah.
So even Africans understood that thing of Thanksgiving, that if you did something nice to me, honestly, I have to come and say thank you.
Yes.
And my way of saying thank you can be different ways. I can decide to buy you a drink. I can decide to buy you lunch. I can decide to just say thank you. But I'll come back and say thank
that gratitude.
Yes, that gratitude. So the same thing happens to even African practices now. They knew if there were people of agriculture, then we take to land. If you are people of the ocean, then we take also to water. And so those are the things that we were doing, just giving back because we one with nature. And I saw so many Africans writing to me in the comment section saying, these things, where's the data? Where is the data to justify the things that you're doing, because you're giving these fruits just back to the earth and back to the land, because they have no understanding. All Africa, you see, I would have been excited. Okay, I wouldn't have been worried if it was a person from the West. But asking such a question. Yes, asking such a question. But someone who's an African, these practices exist and they want you to give them data. They want research. Because Africans don't believe in indigenous or African indigenous knowledge. Yes. So our knowledge, unless someone has gone to Harvard and Cambridge and Oxford.
Those are the people we honor in the society.
Yes.
And the majority of them actually doing totally nothing.
Exactly. Yes. And that is why it is easy for a Kenyan to quote Marcus Aurelius. They cannot. We don't have elders in our community. The closest we can quote is Nelson Mandela, Steve Biko, those guys. But when it comes, to our elders,
even Wahenga, that actually there is no specific name to which Muhenga. Which Muhenga are you talking about? Is it Wabiera, where Wabs is coming from? Exactly. Is it Masakha, where Nangami? Which Muhenga?
Yes, Wahenga walisema. Exactly. And even for that, it's just the proverbs. We don't have like whole philosophies about spirit, about the meaning of life, about connection to nature, community, and how we live with one another. So we are easier to quote what Plato said, what Nietzsche said, but we had our own way and our own understanding.
So now, before Christianity and even this Islam came through, what did we used to believe in? How was our belief system, and how did you execute it?
We had vast spiritual systems.
Okay.
Vast spiritual systems, because each culture, each tribe, each community had their own spiritual systems. That's why I'm saying that it depended. If you are a pastoralist community, then you see God was not in one place. You moved with God. If you are a pastoralist community, because of where you went, then you needed,
and
that
so was God there.
So, and that is why they have very much I want to say also reverence to animals and the rest of it. And even we had totems. So totems meant that for our community, maybe it was an elephant. For some, it was a snake. For others, it was turtles or tortoise. Different how we communicated with nature. But by and large, African systems, spiritual systems, were tied a lot to nature, to ancestors, to land, because ancestors are your first line of resort. You see, Africans were like, I want to say, the theist atheists. Like they believed in the physical. Like first line of connection.
You gotta give some logic and some evidence.
What I can see, see the water. The water is the one that is giving us fish. The water is the one that when we go and we ask for things begin to happen. Then land. So that was earth. Then there was air. Then there was fire. Then you say there were so many things. So they operated with what they could see. The mountains, the animals. That's why we had the totems.
That community, actually, that kind of belief was limited. Because if it's just what you can see and life goes beyond that.
No, so that was that's what I'm saying. It was the first line.
Okay.
So let us honor what we can see first.
Yes.
Then we move to what? The ancestors. So that is nature first. Then let us move to the ancestors. The ancestors are not spirits. There are people who lived, who are flawed, who are also very powerful and successful because of the very many things that they were able to do. There were ancestors who healed. They were herbalists. They were diviners. They were mediums. They were, healers, priests, priestesses, in all ways. So then there was ancestors. Then there was land, because they had to honor the land. Everyone had to honor the land, whether you're in the ocean or what, lake or what, land. Then now there was spirit, the beyond, what you cannot see. And then now we have the indigenous knowledge coming into it, the conversation now with indigenous knowledge. Yeah, so it was that. It was a sequence. So it's African spirituality for different communities. It's not one thing. That's why we call it African spirituality, because it's broad.
Yes, amalgamation of all this together.
So every community had its own way. And then you see, that is why African spirituality does not care to convert, because what the Luos practice and what the Luyas practice is different. But if it works for you, good. I don't want you to borrow mine. You don't have to borrow. I don't have to borrow yours, and I don't have to convince you that it exists. If it works, then it works.
So now there is this damage that actually was caused by the colonialism during the time. Do you think that maybe it extends beyond just them taking away our freedom?
Because it went into taking away identity. That's why the first thing that the colonizers did was to take away your name.
Like we've said earlier.
Yes, the first thing that they did was to take away the name. Yeah. So you take away the name. Then the second thing is to strip people of their language. And you see, to this day, Africans are still struggling with it. That's why people are very concerned about your English accent.
So like right now, when you see me talk like I talk right now, girl, it seems like I'm more sophisticated.
Yeah, you're sophisticated. You sound sophisticated. You sound intelligent. And that's why we laugh at people who shrub.
So can somebody and do you know, but I don't want to say you.
So
then that one now you seem like you're losing the kind of intellectual capacity that we expect of you.
And even if I go back to names, there are so many people. I think it is only recently that people are coming back to the names. For the longest time, there are some people who did not want to associate with their names. Hey, you want to call me Naliaka? Maybe Naliaka, my grandmother was a witch. You see, the only thing to attribute your name is the negative. That's how much damage colonization
Yet there is an Naliaka actually who was just a prosperous businesswoman.
The Naliaka, your grandmother, is not the only Naliaka who existed. Number one. Number two, she was also human. So if you are refusing Naliaka, but you're taking the name Rehab. Rehab was a prostitute. So you're refusing the name Wekesa, you're taking Samson. Samson was deceived by a woman. You're refusing the name Wafula, you're taking the name Solomon. Solomon was a womanizer.
But why is a wise womanizer?
He was a wise womanizer, yes. But he was a womanizer. At the end of it, people who have read, I don't know, the Book of Solomon or something, like the witchcraft behind it. He was a practitioner of witchcraft at the end of the day. Things that have not obviously been included in the mainstream Bible. So we always associated.
There are also some people actually called Barnabas, and he still looks so sophisticated.
Barnabas.
Barnabas was like El Chapo.
Yes.
El Chapo, and
and people prefer Barnabas. And we talk about, I will tell you about I've talked about the diviners, or not even the diviners. Let me talk about the dream workers, the people who are able to interpret dreams. In our African practices, right now in Africa, it's frowned upon. Like, dreams, you can interpret dreams, you are a witch. But Joseph
did the same, and we envy Joseph.
Yes. Joseph did the same thing.
Interpreted dreams.
He was able to dream and know the things are happening in the dream. I can see 12, I don't know, stars or 11 stars bowing at me, and the rest of it, and interpreted dreams until he became
the king.
Until he became closer to the king. Was it prime minister? He became prime minister. Yeah. So we always reject our own because it's not whitewashed.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not whitewashed.
So if a white man came today and said that you guys are taking dreams for granted, dreams is actually, data proves that dreams is good.
Yeah.
Then it becomes good automatically.
Wait a minute. Unaenda mbali. Our ancestors walked barefoot. It was part of grounding.
Yes.
Now we wear shoes. We cannot even stand on the ground. Then Western spirituality comes and tells you, you are one with everything. You need to ground. You need to walk barefoot. Now people are like, we need to meditate. Like these guys used to go to the waters to sit. To the mountains to meditate.
Yeah.
So it was always done, but just because now white people have come and they have astral projection. Astral projection has always. There are people who literally today they will tell you that they can see themselves in a dream. Like you can see yourself being lifted off your body in the dream, in a sleep, and then you can see yourself moving across. Yeah. It happens without even you having to go and look for it. It happens to people naturally. Yes. But people didn't know until it was called astral projection. I do womb work. Womb work has always existed. But now that we call womb release, people are like, it has always existed.
Some people say that's witchcraft.
Yes, people say it's witchcraft. And
it's demonic.
Can you understand the hula baloo? Like you have a womb.
Yes.
How does it become a part of your body? How is it you connecting with a part of your body demonic? You connect to your brain.
Yes.
Yeah, but because now we have the white man calling it neuroscience, neuroplasticity, psychology, it is good. Yeah, it is good. Yeah,
it is now justified.
Yes,
now.
It is justified. Collective consciousness.
Yes.
But if they wanted to call the rain, even the women, we have heard of the women of Samburu, what did they used to do? They would put their issues aside, collectively, move together, go to the mountains or go and in isolation, sing, move with collective consciousness, and end up doing what? Bringing down the rain. Yeah. So that's the power of the mind, using mind and every part of your being to do that. So if you want to do things, incredible things with your brain, nowadays it has been accepted in mainstream. But the ancestors used to do that.
Why do Africans protect religion and all these things that we've been given, yet the colonial master went and left all these things to us? Or they never left?
No, I think they did, but Africans, excuse me, I think it's why we are deconstructing. The reason why we're deconstructing, the white man most of the white people already deconstructed. They realize this is bullshit. So most of them already deconstructed. Now Africans are the ones who are slowly we always catch up behind. Like when you go to Europe,
the white man was already deconstructed.
Yes, most of them have already deconstructed. That is why you will see that their chapels, their churches that have become museums. They don't need it anymore because they have seen what they're able to do with society, and they've realized we don't need a God. You see, when you're fed,
don't you feel that sounds so abominable?
Let me tell you only need a God because of stress.
Mtu ukisota hivi.
And that is why whenever you see someone has gone back to God, immediately, they were a lesbian, and then all of a sudden they have gone, God spoke to me. There was a crisis that was happening in their life. There was a crisis. And
of which if they dealt with it very well, they're just back to...
Yes, and that is why we say that societies are the ones that create God. Because if you're in the midst of shit, before you can unalive yourself, before you can kill yourself, you will need something to hold on to.
Okay.
So people hold on to God. You see someone who is, let's say our viewers today, someone has enough food, they pay rent on time, they get money as much as they want. Yes. That's why the rich people don't spend time in church. They go to the churches where they go for 2 hours and then go back home.
Oh, St. Cathedral.
Yeah, they go to the cathedral.
Morning service.
They go for the morning service, 7 to 9, they're back home. Yeah, because for them, going to church is, it's almost ceremonial. You know, they're not going to church to raise they're not going to miracle services.
But what's the significance?
Who goes to miracle services? It's poor people.
Yes, and I think
people who have problems.
So
people who go to miracle services are people, you will only see someone with certificates. I want you to pray for my certificate so that I can get a job. I want you to pray, I have a disease. I want you to pray for my mother. I want you, like, it's people who go for miracle services are people who are in trouble, people who have problems, people who have issues.
Yes.
So yes, people turn to God when they are
in
poor, when they need, when they're hungry. So these Western societies, they are comfortable. So they don't need a God. And they have been able to do things without the people who have been able to front science, for most of them, they're non-religious.
Non-religious?
Yeah. Most of them were non-religious. Okay, when you talk even about the philosophers, most of them who died poor, most of them were not religious.
Oh, okay.
Most of them were non-religious.
But don't you think like it sounds so abominable when you say that they don't need a God? Don't you feel like it sounds like that Titanic question where somebody say that even God can't sink this?
You see,
you don't feel the goose.
They don't need a God.
Or I'm also seems like I've also been colonized. My mind.
The indoctrination is still there because you still believe in something that is outside of you. Yes, because that is how religion does. The religion creates this idea that there's something outside of you that you need to revere, you need to respect, you need to worship, you need to honor. You see, in African spirituality, they don't get to like really explain God. Like when you talk about Nyasai, tell me the concept you have heard about Nyasai, you as a Luo. What have you been told about Nyasai, apart from the fact that he created? What else?
Yeah, that is created. He's supreme.
You don't know much. You don't know much about Nyasai, do you?
Because there is nothing to say so much about.
Okay.
Nyasai.
You know why?
He created all of us.
You know why?
Yes.
Because the Luo never tried to interpret God.
Okay.
It was beyond them. So they knew there's a supreme creator, but they did not go into depth to explain its characters because it was too infinite for them who are finite to give it expression.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for us who understand Wele, do you think for us we say, Wele fights for you, Wele comes for his people, Wele is the one who said, do you think, have you ever heard of a Luo speaking like that about Wele?
No, not at all.
Oh, Ngai?
No. Magai.
Yes, they call on Ngai, but have you ever heard them give Ngai traits? No.
Yeah, I've never heard.
You've never heard? You just know that the supreme being is called Ngai. Yes. The supreme being is called Nyasai. The supreme being is called Wele, and that's where it ends. It created, did everything, that's where it ends. Why? Because they were smart enough to know that there's things they don't know, and they're not hell-bent in explaining things they don't know. They focus on what they know.
Oh, okay.
And the things that they don't know, they leave it. So this concept of God, that's why it's a very Abrahamic concept. That is why it is only in Abrahamic religions that God intervenes in people's daily lives. There's no other religion that God intervenes. Buddhists, God does not intervene.
So God interferes, in short, what you're saying. Yeah.
That's so that God is the one who knows what you are born to do, what you are created to do. God has told you. It is in Abrahamic religions only. These other religions, you deal with other forces, not the supreme, the ultimate force, the ultimate creator. So in Abrahamic religions, that's where God comes down to the minute things of even telling you who you need to sleep with. That he says, oh, Nangami, by the way, you will marry Wabs. Like God is involved in things up until that. So you say, by the way, God is the one who has joined us together. And then when we divorce, what happened? Do people go back and say, you lied?
God. Ulinionyesha masigns na mimi nikawaacha tuweze kuona.
Do you go back to God and say, ama nisi tuliwekelea Mungu? Ninyi mliwekelea Mungu amewajoin together, because why are there so many divorce rates? And these divorce rates are happening to what? People call themselves Christians.
Yeah, people actually, you wed this weekend.
Yes. So when you're saying that God is the one who assigned this marriage, God is the one who picked you for me, and then a year later we have divorced. Who lied?
Yeah.
God or me?
Yeah. So do you think that maybe there is we try to defend God so much to the extent that God himself does not get a space to actually reveal who he is.
That's what religion does. That's what religion does. People fight for
if
God.
We kept away, could God come and reveal himself?
People fight for God. You know, if you keep away, then you come to realize that at the end of the day, this world, you're alone.
Yeah.
But people fight to keep God's name, to protect God. Like, people are fighting for God instead of the other way around. Like, if I come today and I say Allah is not anything, then let Allah prove himself. Yes. But people are the ones who will come and say, wait. And you see, the thing about Abrahamic religions, they are so sadistic that the first thing they'll say, wait until your child becomes sick.
Is when you will notice.
Wait until you get an accident. That's when you will know that God exists. It's very sadistic. Why isn't it that wait until you have billions of shillings that you will know that God exists? Why isn't it that God atakubariki ile siku hujaiona mpaka hujua ana exist? Mbona inakujanga na hizo threats za negativity?
Oh, it cannot be the other way around.
Why can it be the other way
around? Wewe. Siku moja utakuwa kwa mansion nyingine wewe. Utajua Mungu anaexist.
Utajua Mungu anaexist. Atakubless na ndoa yako, bless na watoto wako.
Kila kitu kitakuwa sawa kwa maisha yako.
Kila kitu kitakuwa sawa kwa maisha
yako. Na
utajua Mungu anaexist. Mungu anaexisting in times of trouble. That's when people
kila kitu kimesambaratika.
Kila kitu kimesambaratika ndio utajua ati Mungu anaexist. Huyo ni Mungu aina gani?
Na mbona Mungu ako hivyo basi?
Mbona huyo ni Mungu aina gani?
Yeye ndio aonyesha ana exist, lazima uchape kwanza.
Yes. Uchape kabisa, umuhitaji, umlilie. You have to cry for this God for you to know that God exists. And people have cried and died in their tears. And it's very sadistic. You see, it's very sadistic and it lacks empathy. That's why someone can say, oh, imagine at a funeral. At a funeral where other people died. Unakuja hapo na crutches zako. Praise God. I thank God that in that accident 5 people died. I survived.
God is great.
You lack empathy to see that there are people who didn't make it. To hold space, to hold room, because those are people who are mourning. Those are people who are grieving their loved ones. Those are people who are broken. Those are families that will not recover. But it puts you at the center. It puts you in a very selfish position that you were somehow chosen. You know, there's something about you. You are somehow loved.
Yeah.
Of all us, he loved me and restored me.
Yeah, you do things at your own terms, as in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And also religion, it brings to a place which I keep on talking about. It takes away process from Africans.
Oh, okay.
From Africans. And it happens all over, even across the globe. Someone gets on the microphone on the stage and they say, oh, thank you so much. In fact, this would be me. When I receive best public speaker in Africa, best female public speaker in the world.
I think you are. You
know?
are. Yeah,
and I go
to
receive my reward and I'm like, first of all, I want to give a big thanks to God for giving me an opportunity, for getting me here. I want to thank my parents. I want to thank my husband. I want to thank my child. I want to thank, and then I forget myself.
So you'll do like the way Snoop Dogg did.
Yes. I want
First and foremost, I want to thank me.
Thank you. That is good.
I want to thank me for not taking some day off. Yeah, I want to thank me.
And that is beautiful.
I'm also kama told me safer.
Yes.
Me, I love me. If you don't love me, it's your own.
I think that's how it's supposed to be. We take away process because I will not lie to you. There are so many years that I have spent honing this skill of speaking. People who didn't know me, people would wake up and think, oh, this is how you always... No! There's so many times I would start to speak for 3 minutes and I would run out of words. And then I would realize I can't construct sentences for 3 minutes. And I had to do it consistently over and over. Do my 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
And then one day I wake up and say, oh, by the way, like I forget myself in the process and say, I did this shit. I cannot begin to tell you the number of times that I was locked out of my house.
Yes.
Because I was trying to become a good public speaker and I wasn't getting the gigs. The number of times that I almost gave up. I thought of jumping off that balcony. But I kept on the commitment, the discipline, and the consistency.
Yes.
For me to get here. And if you say that is an all-powerful God, an all-powerful God is so powerful, it does not need my mere attention. It's not seeking attention. Like, why does God want my attention and he has enough angels in heaven? Si angels wanamworship kila siku. But anataka bado hii yangu kidogo.
Mambo gani hapa?
Si angels wanaworshipingi Mungu kila siku. Since the beginning of time, angels have been praying, angels have been worshiping, angels have been doing all that. But God atosheki. Bado anataka hii yako kidogo, ukikosa kumpraise kidogo ako na issue. Amekaa sita kuponya huko ni uja ni thank. That's very narcissistic. It's powerless. It speaks of a very
Nangami unaongea vitu gani hizo?
It speaks of a God that has esteem issues.
Yeah, but it became to sound like that, huh?
Yeah, it has.
But I think I don't think God actually has these kind of qualities. It's we have constructed a God and made a God who have these kind of anxieties and...
yes, exactly. So that is why we're the ones who create God. No wonder God has human qualities.
Yeah.
God is our father. God has a son. Like, what? He has a son? How would he need a son? How would all God need a son? For what? Create all of these things and still have a son, 3 person in one, and just spirit. Like, those are just human qualities that they just think you need to have hierarchy or something. You need to have an heir to the throne. That's why Jesus dies and goes and sits at the right hand of God. Like, it's just giving king and his heir. It needs an heir. Now, even the question we were asking the other day, Jesus is sitting on the right hand of God, interceding for you to a God who already knows everything. So what is he telling God that God does not know?
Labda Mungu anambia acha bwana, najua I have my own plans. Wacha mchezo bwana.
Exactly. Exactly.
So now I want you to just walk us through the pain that Africans went through in colonialism and slavery.
Colonialism and slavery. Okay, so let's go to colonialism and slavery. Colonialism and slavery are very painful. Because you see, we when we look at the roads, we say colonizer, you see the African, I really cry. You see, for me, I was a Christian, by the way. It's not that I've always been different. But when I started reading...
You're not a Christian right now?
No, I'm not. I'm not a Christian. I'm proud to say so. I'm not a Christian. But you see, people are very easy to say, but that English you're speaking is from the colonizers. The road that we have is because of colonization.
Do you also speak Luya?
Yes, I do. I do, but I am not very good.
Riano.
Siko sendibu laita. Senyalana kachulamulu pukusubu laita. You can see it even has an accent.
Yeah, you're not speaking in tongues, girl.
I can't speak Luya well, and it's okay. It's because of the society I was raised in. We didn't speak Luya in our house, and the rest of it.
We went to the group of schools, and eventually...
Then I went to public schools. I did go to public schools.
You don't look like it.
I did. I just went to like the really good public schools.
Oh, okay.
So I'll give you an example.
The premium ones.
Yes. I went to Limuru Girls. Limuru Girls is a national school, right? But Limuru Girls was for the white girls. Then Loreto Limuru was for the black girls. And also Alliance in the beginning was for the white girls. So when we talk about education, when Africans say that, colonization brought us education. It brought us education, but it was for who? Education in the beginning in times of colonization was for who? The best education was reserved for who? The white girls and the white boys. Wasn't it? So when you say these roads, we have the roads, what were the roads for? They were for trade. That we are able, or the railway, what was it for? It wasn't for you. They did not bring roads and say, Africans don't have roads. We love you so much. We want to bring you roads. It was to open Mombasa and to do trade. It was capitalism.
Sure,
they didn't have you in mind. Even the education that they were bringing. And even when they brought education, they had to break you to a pulp. First of all, you had to change your name, identity. Number 2, language. So you go to school. Remember, even in primary, we used to wear the discs. Like speaking in your mother tongue was so... the show has ended. Life has ended. Anyway.
The levels.
So it was... imekuwa nini? Nimeongea vitu ikakuwa reported.
Maybe. Might that be the case? Let me just check. Why is it? Guys, let's not be so intolerant, eh? As in... Msikuje mka block...
No, but it's reading live.
Is it still live? Hebu check on it. Tuone.
Ama ni yangu.
No, even mine went off.
Let me see if I can go live.
Maybe we can go live then now. Invite us. I've been invited. I'm hopeful that...
For For me, eh? Mimi nimekuwa band.
Ndio onekani.
But mjani invite? Come on invite. Mimi?
Ama nienda amebaniwa. Unajua Nangami ndio ako na haters wengi.
I can see yours. Invite me nione. Ama ni tume request. Ndio you. We are back.
Nakuja.
We switch off the microphones.
You can just press it. Okay, I think I just have to do that, huh? Queen Empress herself.
Na venye ilikuwa iko na watu kiasi.
Tuseme shetani ashindwe.
Ashindwe. Riswa.
Katika jina la
Yesu.
Can we go ahead? Yeah. So, can you recall where you were? Yes, we were just talking about the pain.
We unmute ourselves. Unmute, no. So what's iko na echo?
Yes, yeah, I did. I unmuted myself.
Unless we unmute RIBA SASA. But
okay.
Nangami.
I think no mine is on. Huh?
My microphone. I don't know. Is it on?
No, it is. It's on.
It's on, eh?
Yeah. So, all is good? Are there those echoes still?
Miss KG says she can hear. Miss KG, are we okay?
But I think now you need to mute as well.
They respond.
Oh, I can see. They're saying they can hear now.
Okay.
You can be unmute yourselves. So I think today I just give a little shout outs. So Miss G, we can see you. Debs and all that are joining in. It's a nice conversation that we're having, and continue contributing through your small messages right there. Share the lives and tap the screens. Yeah. So Nangami, Africans went through hell.
Yes.
Tell us about the pain of colonialism that actually the Africans went through.
Okay.
Yes.
So I want to talk about what's slavery and colonization. Very horrible, very bad. There's a Kenyan guy. I forgot his name, but I think most Kenyans should try search him on TikTok. I don't know if he's doing it or anyone else, but he's giving the history of what happened in those camps. You know, where
what happened in those camps?
Yes, where people were being held, and if you see if you didn't, they were put in some like houses that didn't have windows. They only had a small breathing space.
Ventilation.
Ventilation that had barbed wires, and then they only had like holes where you could at least gain access into what is happening in the outside world. And for you to come out is, change of name, accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. So you see the Christianity that came, that's why it was very colonial, because the question would have been, what would have been so wrong with bringing the religion without having to change the people? Like, why would you have to force it on them? There's something called colonial punishment. Colonial punishment was if you did not convert, you just said, I just want to go as Wamboi Mwangi. You don't want to change to Mary Wamboi or Mary Mwangi or Mary Nancy, something like that.
Yes.
Why wouldn't this God allow Africans to accept the God without changing their name, their language, their way of life?
Yes.
Which these are questions that even someone like Joshua Maponga has always questioned. What was so difficult?
I think, Director, we are told that there is no sound now at all. So maybe you can. I think it seems like it's muted from the other end. So there is no sound at all. And so members, we are checking onto the sounds. So just be patient as our technicians are working on that. It's a very emotive topic, and we'll really appreciate your questions bear with us as we're working on that. We are here with the Queen Empress herself, Madam Nangami Masakha, one known in the entire Africa to be that lady who speaks not only her mind, but speaks truth to power. Yeah. So so our technicians are really working hard to ensure that everything is restored. So don't leave the live. Instead, share it so that you can be able to have a very huge audience. It is as sensitive as it is, and we believe that we're able to have the best conversation that can actually play a role in shaping us and shaping our African continent by ensuring that the mindset that our people have is the mindset that can lead us to progress and progress us to prosperity. So Nangami, we go ahead. So I'm hopeful that we are audible.
But you can confirm.
Yeah, you can confirm whether. Let somebody confirm to us whether we are now audible. Are we audible enough? Are we audible enough?
Debs is saying you work on the echo. Debs is saying you work on the echo. I don't know if it's on your side. It's okay.
I think I need to mute mine now. Huh? Yeah, so Debs, confirm to us that everything is now okay. Yeah. Oh, there is an echo again?
I think now that you've muted.
Elida can confirm to us whether everything is okay. Debs, thank you so much for that. And Fitness Palace, thank you so much for bringing it up. Oh, now seems like we are okay. This is confirmed by $billionaire. $1 billion Emerald. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Nangami, we continue from where we stopped.
Okay.
I know it's a very, very emotive topic, and here and there, I don't know, saying a yes or FBI or what. Something might always go wrong when it comes to such kind of emotive topic.
Yeah, because you see, I want to say, let me call them our ancestors.
Yes.
Because they are our ancestors.
Yes, they are.
Those who collaborated.
Yes.
Africans are not a homogeneous group. There are those, we had mistakes, we had injustices, we had practices that obviously as cultures and as people we have, put them behind us.
Yes.
But how colonization was applied was crude.
Yes.
It was crude. Because you see, the people who came first, the explorers, then the missionaries, then the colonizers. And when they came, the missionaries were just the ones to bring the Bible on, and the missionaries were not with the people every day. They would come to the churches on Sunday. But we understand that also religion, especially Christianity, has a very bitter past, because you can imagine how they used to transport the slaves. First of all, we will say that it is Africans who sold their fellow Africans. True.
It also happened.
It was greed. Like today, we are free, but we know that our presidents are selling us. True or false? That our presidents are in bed with some colonial powers that are out to destroy us.
There's such a perception today.
Yes. So we have presidents who are not there for our interests, much as we claim freedom. But don't we have people who are fighting it? Don't we have an opposition that is against the injustices that we are facing right now?
Yeah.
Don't we have people who are speaking up?
We have.
Haven't you had people who have gone on demonstrations to deny the injustices of the regime?
We even have those who have been killed through it.
So yes, and people have been killed through it. So that's exactly what happened during colonial times. The few people who are greedy, they would take things from the colonial master and say, give me the gun, give me the whatever, I will give you 5 slaves. So they would waylay people. They would waylay. Girls were going to the river, captured. So even villagers, especially when it came now to religion and Christianity, if there was a home, say for instance, that had a spiritual practitioner who had a shrine and the rest of it, burn it. They would ban those people, and then they would brand the spiritual leaders of the community as what? As witches and wizards. You see, colonization was a very smart game. Anybody who thinks that colonization happened just by chance is not reading history clearly. The first thing that they did when they came to the land and they saw the savages who spoke primitive language and also worshipped in practices that they were considered inferior, going to the mountains, to the rivers, speaking to trees, to animals and the rest of it. The first thing that they came was to do what? Was to demonize the natural resources. So you just had, the mountains are evil, they have evil spirits, the evil spirits are in the water and the rest of it. Because now people are beginning to listen to this white man every Sunday who's standing and saying, you need to come to Jesus, you need to come to God and the rest of it. Then the second bit, what do? Because they came and they investigated the magic that was here. And they knew that they would not. If you read the book that has been written by, he's called Joseph Who. I've read his book about African practices, and I've forgotten his name. People can remind me his name, but he documents it really well.
Somebody remind us.
So anyway, so when they come and they can see that we have magic, you see, the African, the white people accepted.
Yes.
They appreciated that Africans had a spiritual system that was magic.
Yes.
So what did they call our spiritual systems? Superstition. That's how it was branded. It was branded as superstition.
Yes.
So what do they do next after they come from the natural resources? They go for the spiritual leaders. So because if you want to dismember a community, you go for the head. So what did they go to? They went for the heads. They went for the priests. They went for the priestesses. They went for the healers. They went for the advisors to the chiefs and all of them. Either ask them that, you have to receive Jesus Christ. If you don't, either you'll be killed, your shrine will be burnt. Or so most of those people, because the community is so slowly turning against them, some of them ran. Some of them went into exile. So the community is left alone. What happens to the community next? It's now one against each other. If you see anyone who has a shrine, burn them. So they come and say,
like what was happening in Kisii.
In Kisii. Huyu mama ni mchawi. Huyu mzee ni mchawi. Huyu anafanya hivi. So it becomes now you against the other person. Now, is it true that there are people who use the witchcraft for negativity? Exactly. Anybody who has power,
a complete community.
Anybody who has any sort of power, there are people who are bound to abuse it. The same way we have AI. AI is an incredible tool. But there are people who are going to abuse it. But is it a bad tool? No, it is. It isn't. It's a very good technology that we have found ourselves in. So yes, that is how it happened. And it was so bad that now it got to a place where the colonizers have come in, they have settled. So it's the colonizers and the missionaries. Yes. So the missionaries come to church, they have built their churches, you go to the churches. But Monday to Friday, who is leading? It is the colonizer. So the colonizer is the one who is enforcing now. Now men are being emasculated. If you don't believe in this religion, hard labor. You remember even the men who used to, they had to be separated. If you had obliged to the colonial system, you wear trousers. If you had not, you wear shorts. So that was... And you can see an old man in shorts. You know how that can be very emasculating. And the hard labor. And that is why now there are people who decided to go to the forests to fight. Because now they woke up and realized we are losing our land. We have lost our names. We have lost our identity. And that is why, for me, I appreciate women like Mukame Kimathi. Mukame Kimathi has been pivotal in terms of maintaining and evangelizing the Mau Mau and also the struggle and maintaining the integrity and the dignity of the Mau Mau. And that is why they really harassed her when they were looking for Kimathi and even after Kimathi had been captured. Because that girl, that woman was a badass. She was a messenger. She acted like a spy. She was just an ordinary woman. And by the way, in some communities, when the white men came, very patriarchal. Most societies, there were so many African communities that were very patriarchal. I do not deny that. But most societies were they had balance. Men had a role, women had their own roles. These people come, the white man is the head. They come and they realize that in these communities, there were women elders who would be approached for conversations, especially the women who didn't have...
elders.
Yes, female elders. The older women who have grown, because women were considered to be the custodians of the spirit realm. So they are the ones that people would go to. Even when people wanted to go to war, who would they approach? They would approach the women that were called witches. Those are the ones who would provide the drinks, the herbs, and say, go and drink this herb. When you are short, you will not die. Who are preparing those drinks? It was the women. So they are the ones, and even when men went to war and came back, who cleansed them? It was the women. Because in African societies, shedding blood is sacrilegious. You don't shed blood. So even when you go to war and shed blood, you cannot come back to the community that you've gone to war, we've won, we've come back. You have to stay outside of the community. You're cleansed. They remove those spirits of death, everything that is accompanying you before you can come back. Before you're allowed into the community. Because shedding blood was sacrilegious. Yes. Even those who used human sacrifice, they have to cleanse themselves. Yes. They have to somehow protect themselves because life has always been sacred.
Yes.
So when the white man comes and sees that in these societies, men consult women, women consult men, they came and said, I want to talk to the man. When they came, they said, we want to talk to the kings, we want to talk to the men, we don't want to talk to the women. We want to talk to the men. So that is what now now
bring out
started
the division
bringing
in
that
that unit.
division. So then women become, and then when they go to church to speak, to preach, they are preaching this thing of women cannot do this in church. And then you see all of a sudden they have seen that Africans are wearing sisal skirts and up here they are naked. There was rare cases of rape back in the day because men
if
saw
that happened
breasts.
Today with this yakasiaka things
And it's because of the perversion. Because where did the perversion come? The perversion has come from the two religions, Christianity and Islam. So they come in these hot temperatures of East Africa. You can imagine somewhere like Mombasa.
But I think somewhere there's such culture still
yes,
exists.
And people used to walk naked. The men used to have like just the sisal skirts and they would walk,
there's also just to cover
the essentials. To cover the essentials. And you see, and during the cold weathers, what did they have? They had the animal skin. So they knew how to move with the weather. If the weather is hot, we walk bare-chested. If it is cold, we wear the clothes that we have made for ourselves, animal skin, and it kept them warm. And then these people who come from very cold regions come and say, by the way, this is you walking naked. Unbeknownst to them that the reason we're walking like that's not because we could not make clothes.
It was too hot, man.
Because of the weather. That's what was appropriate. And then they started saying, no, you see now these are breasts. Now people become aware that, by the way, those are breasts, and they're kind of sexy because the person who is looking at them is looking at them from a place of, they're coming from a place where the women dress up. And
so this thing never used to be sexist during that time?
No. Breast used to be viewed as what? It's baby food. It's baby food. So men used to, Africans never used to have this elaborate sexual appetite.
Well, I think I will believe it because I think even people just started kissing in 2000.
Recently. Kissing started recently.
Some people me touching somebody's mouth. Yuck.
And that's why even for Africans, marriage wasn't about like love. I love you and I want to marry you so that I can have sex. Like sex was for reproduction. That is why.
So we were just like animals.
That is why polygamy thrived in Africa and in most African communities, because that marriage thing was not for love. It was just like, I have resources, I have means, I can have 3 wives, they can give me 20 children. So you sleep in this hut, you go have sex with her, okay, mimba. That hut, pregnancy. This other one, you're able to maintain and take care of them. And they had their own arrangement. So the girl, if she wanted now someone she loves, if can find someone outside of the man, they could. Someone now like they would deal with. But this one was for the babies, for the security of a relationship and
a bad culture.
And marriage. And that is why most elders in African communities, what would they say? A child born in your home is what? Is your child. Your child.
Yeah.
A child born in your house is your child.
You don't
ask questions.
Mambo ya DNA,
wacha kuuliza maswali ati lakini si nilikuwa nimeenda safari. Nimerudia meza. Wacha hiyo story. Because they knew that women would sleep around and the rest. That is why the communities that now wanted to curb it ended up introducing cutting of the clitoris. So that the woman does, especially the pastoralist communities, because they used to travel a lot.
Moto mingi hiyo.
So mimi nimeenda alafu mtu atajishindia mtu wangu. So hiyo joto, to stopisha hiyo joto, that's how some cultures were. For that heat, so that when I go away for 6 months, my woman is not so hot that I'll come, she's pregnant for someone else. Obviously, it was still rooted in a lot of patriarchal stuff. But now bringing you back to the conversation we were having about colonization. In the way that it was enforced, it was very traumatizing, you could not get medical help. You could not go to school. But you see, they have introduced these things as good things. Africans were getting the inferior kind of education for the longest time until the white man went. The good schools were left for who? The English girls. That's why I'm saying I went to Limuru Girls. Limuru Girls is, you could tell it was a white girl school. Like the infrastructure is very British. Really nice British architecture, very, strong. You look at that, you're like, okay, this is nice. But if you see now where the African girls used to go to school, so when Africans say, oh, they brought us education, the education that was supposed to bring you Western civilization. So that Africans have come to a place where when it even comes to our hair, do you know, by the way, there has been a joke that was running around about the African hair, that the white people used to laugh at African hair because they're like, we look like we have pubes on our head.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because for them, this kinky stuff is in the pubes.
Somewhere there.
So why are you walking with pube hair in your head? Why are you walking? So that was, for the longest time, it has been like, so Africans started feeling inferior. Or even about our skin tone. Because everything that we do, we rate it against the African culture. So you can imagine, men used to wear dreads, they used to wear their hair long. But when when the colonizers are bringing this education to you, they're saying, we're going to give you education, but you have to cut your hair.
Okay.
So that it looks manageable, you don't look like a riffraff, you don't look this. So who are we using this education according to whose lens? Not your lens. And that is why it is happening to this day. We cannot stand seeing a man in his natural hair. And women's hair, however it is done, is not professional.
Is mine natural?
Is this natural?
Yes.
Yeah. So we lost so much language when we're talking about language. Like Africans, for the most part, when we have our kids, we want them, the first language to speak is what? English.
Most of the time, people prefer
we want
them
our kids to speak English. Yeah. We want our kids, and that's what I was telling you.
But I think that's also because of the opportunity. It seems like with the international language, the kid can actually be able to trade around easily.
As the first language. Why? It's that is what we are giving it
easy.
as.
So
we
make
emotional. We make emotional decisions and then give logic to it. But for the most part, when you look at it, when you interrogate it deeply, our local language, we feel like they're inferior to English.
Yeah.
At a very deep-seated level, our local languages are inferior.
I don't think it's true.
To English.
I don't think it's true.
No, it's not true. Because you see, human beings are the most adaptable machine. People have learned 5 languages. See, there are people who speak 5 languages. Africans at least, in fact, Africans are among the few tribes or communities in the world that speak multiple languages. Can you imagine you speak 3 languages easily?
Yeah.
You speak English, Swahili, and Zulu.
Yeah.
And you go to certain countries like France, they only speak French. You go to America, they only speak English.
How many languages do you speak?
I speak 3, at least. The third one, I don't speak it fluently. But I also did some French. I did some French in school.
So
it is easy for us to...
around 5.
It is easy for us to speak 4 languages by the time we are grown. There's nothing stopping us, especially children. Children are very malleable. Children can speak
so
English.
What your point is that teach the kids the African language. As they grow by, they can be able to add more depending on the need of the day.
They can add more as long as, because you see a child is at home, they can just know it, how to speak and whatnot. They will slowly morph into any language. Like there are people who are married in Western that are Kikuyus, and they came there as grown-ups, and right now they speak Bukusu really well. They speak Bukusu better than even those of us who claim to be Bukusu, and these are people who are married there as grown-ups. So languages has never been a problem. It's just that for us, we have this limited thing. And English, because it is spoken everywhere, you are bound to catch up. There are people who are raised, our parents used to say that they were taught in what? In mother tongue for the most part. But when you listen to our parents nowadays, they speak English so well, you can't even tell that they never used to speak English when they were young. That when they went to the first few years of their school, they never spoke English. Yeah, they caught up. They'll catch up. Okay, am I saying that is how it should be addressed? There's a curriculum to it. There's an education way of introducing indigenous. Like South Africa, say, for instance. You see, I was in South Africa, and South Africans were very concerned. They're like, East Africans, why do people have like English names so many? Because you meet South Africans who are just, most of them. Like I like to talk about Vusi Tembekwayo, a Christian, but he has local names throughout.
Vusi Tembekwayo is not a Christian name, right?
Yeah,
does he have a Christian name?
No, he doesn't.
Is he a Christian?
He is a Christian. He's saved. He talks about Jesus being his Lord and Savior. But he's called Vusi Tembekwayo. South Africans, most of them have their local names. They go by Makosozani Nzilani or something of the sort. Most of them have that. And South Africa, by the way, they have all their languages as like their national languages. Like they have, 12. Like you find the people who can speak Zulu and Xhosa and English and Afrikaans. They can speak all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think that maybe is the Africans, Kenyans are the ones actually being left behind in
Yeah.
this struggle? Because as you explained, seems like the colonialism and the history of slavery is a painful one.
It is a painful one. You see, but then you know how they used to capture slaves. So they'll come sometimes burn villages, or the people who would be captured as slaves, and they used to be walked to the ships. So there are people who, first of all, can you imagine how painful it was? You have been captured. Because slaves were not handing themselves over there like, oh, by the way, you've come. You want a slave? I am here. I volunteer to be a slave. How did they capture those slaves? It was through force. Either they waylay you, they time you going to the river, going to hunt, going to do your thing, you waylaid. Or the villages that were being attacked. And then they would raid the villages. The way people used to raid for cattle, they would raid those villages at night, and then they would capture the slaves. Now, they've captured the slaves in the interior of a place in Ghana or Nigeria. Say Ghana, for instance. And then they would put chains on your feet. The chains that you're talking about is not this chain. It is big chains. And imagine you're walking for kilometers with chains on your hands.
2 kgs.
Chains on your and chains on your feet. You're walking like this. Now, as if that is not enough, they have put something that looks like a cage on your face. Number one, it was to prevent people. We've had this history. Number one, it was to prevent the people from singing what? Wars. Because these people came and knew that Africans had songs for everything. Songs for planting, songs for Thanksgiving, songs for war. And those war songs will instigate some uprising, some rebellion. And they wanted a smooth transition. So they would put things on their mouths. So they would only open it to feed you. So also that meant that these people were doing what? Thinning down. Now, anybody who has met the West Africans, by the way, I've dealt with West Africans. West Africans, especially the man, even the women, they are big. Like even we see the Nigerians here, you can tell that these people are
you
big.
think that they're bigger than I am?
Yes, they are big. But the Nigerians are big. Okay, not bigger than you are, but they are big.
Thank you.
Okay, you appreciate it? You
I
are big.
appreciate it.
And the West Africans are generally not big. So we are different. So you can imagine the West Africans are big. So they wanted to like thin them. Even the women, the West Africans have like, you know.
So in order for them to fit into those ships.
Yes. So not to fit, because they wanted to carry as many people as possible, as many slaves.
Yeah.
So there are people, and there are so many people used to die on the roads. Disease, starvation, hunger, and the rest of it.
Maybe some beating, sometimes you are beaten.
Yes. Because they had no, you said these people were so inhumane that they had no reservation even for the children. If they capture the small child, the better. They get the teenage girls. In fact, that is good, because they're going to be labor, good labor. You see? And so they would transport.
How is a small child good labor?
See, now this is going to be long-term slave. Can you imagine you're getting them young? They're going to serve you for a very long time compared to if you got a 30-year-old. They are old, they're already tired, but if you got a 15-year-old, you get a 14-year-old, 16-year-old of service out of this one. Right? Because they did not see Africans as human beings. They saw them as savages. That's why for the longest time they've been calling them what? Savages. And then Christianity, in its white supremacy, lies to the African that you are the children of Ham. Noah is Middle Eastern. Where does he get an African child? All his kids are supposed to look the same.
Yeah.
But there's someone who is black, there's another one who is Chinese, there's another one who is white. Don't you see this is just conversation about white supremacy? For the whites to say that, we're the ones who are chosen, and the Africans are the ones who saw their father naked, so they're the ones who were cast, and that slavery was very much needed because the African was worshipping idols. And then the African accepted it. And that is why I say there's no karma, because when is karma going for the white man? After 400 years of slavery, the white people are still progressing. The African is still.
Do you know that even declared and even accepted that they did all this wrong? Yes.
When is their punishment coming?
I don't think it's coming anytime soon.
When is their punishment coming? When are they also going to be put in ships and experience the same brutality that they have put the world into? When are they ever going to get their fair share? And I always say this, it is Africans who despise their ancestors. We are living with people who are the descendants of Hitler. As recent as Hitler. Christopher Columbus. Do you know what Christopher Columbus did? King Leopold. Have you ever seen the
tell us Christopher as we and Columbus.
Forget even about that. The British.
Yes.
King Charles today is coming from that lineage. Have you ever seen those British say, we don't want to have anything to do with our ancestors because of the terrible things they did with colonization in Africans and how they were using kids to feed alligators, how they used to whip and not see the humanity in Africans. They used to put them in those dungeons, and those dungeons had like 3 doors. So if you come big, you have to fit in that door. So they will starve you until you fit into the first door. You get into the next room, you sit there. If you don't fit into this door, you sit there, you eat very minimal food until you are thin enough to go through the other door. Now you get into the door of no return. Now when you go to the door of no return, you are done. And in the door of no return, you're done.
You're killed.
No, you're transported to America now. You're going now to Canada and the rest of it. So once you get to the what's it called? The door of no return, there's now the ocean. Now you can see the ocean, the ship. And those ships, by the way, had Jesus. The ships were called Jesus, by the way. and in those dungeons at the bottom, especially the dungeons that had the women, at the top there was a church. So they would come and whip those people and then go back and pray to God. That's why people are asking, how can the God of the colonized and the colonized, who does God listen to? And when people say, where was our ancestors or our gods during slavery? Where was Jesus and God during slavery also? No one intervened. Not the God, not Jesus, not the ancestors, not the gods. The Africans were on their own. There's no one who stepped to intervene, not Jesus, not God, because that slavery continued for 400 years. 400 years. Where was Jesus to stop it? The people who died in transit, the people who died in the ships, they threw themselves, they say, I would rather die than become a slave. They're Africans, in colonization.
That's having seen what the slaves were going through.
Exactly. And once you got and you saw the ocean, the water, and you saw the ship, and you knew now you're boarding the ships, do you know what they used to do? You're stripped off on your name, and you're branded. The way we brand cows. You see the way they take the metal and the numbers. Hot metal. That's the branding. You're branded. And when you get on the other side, the first thing that they do, mukishafika hivi, you're paraded on a podium. Nika market day sasa. Men are stripped down to their balls. Women are stripped down. Unaingishwa vidole hivi wanasema ona huyu ako sawa. This man is okay. Can you imagine the humiliation? They hold the gonads. They hold, this one is going to be a very good slave. They look at the girl. This one is very fertile. Look at the pubes. Look at the vagina. Look at, she's good. Turn around. They look at the bum bum. They used to have like big bum bums. Look at this one.
The ones from the Luo Nyanza, they say that,
and then, so it depends. The slave owners would come and buy. So someone wants to buy a house nigger. So they are looking for someone who can work in the house. So she looks attractive, the beautiful. Wale yongo kaa sura ngumu unajua wanaenda kwa cotton. So someone is looking for the plantation nigger. So someone would come and buy. So it would be like an auction. Wabs, anybody wants this one? Anybody wants this one? Going once, going twice. We'll take that one. And imagine you're standing there. It is you and maybe your son. Wewe unaenda kwa hii family, huyu anaenda kwa hii family ingine. You see your child being auctioned to another owner. You see your wife being auctioned to another owner. You see your sibling, your younger sister, being auctioned somewhere else and you part ways. It's done.
For a lifetime, you'll never see each other.
You'll never see each other.
Ever again.
Ever again. It is done. And that was not it. We have seen the story of Kunta Kinte and how he was beaten to a pulp. They almost ruined his back because he had refused the name Toby. Until he was, I think he was about to die. Then he just said, okay, I'll take the name Toby. Because he wanted to remain with the name Kunta Kinte. But even when the Africans got there, they still maintained, that is why the knowledge was passed from hand to mouth. They maintain now the food, what the African Americans have, like soul food, the music, they maintained that bit, but it was beaten out of them. So when you see the dangers of colonization and you see the dangers, that is slavery. We have not even gotten to colonization, even right here in Africa, in Kenya rather. And what they had to do, the guerrilla warfares that had to be fought for years. Let's not even start with South Africa, the apartheid. South Africa was invaded how many times? By the Boers, then the British. Like they've never known peace, these guys. Right? Yeah. And so if we can only say that the only thing that they introduced to us was a God, and even when you look at the ideas and the concepts of a God, it doesn't make sense to you. Now it's time Africans now are questioning. They're not questioning God. They're questioning the version of God that has been given to them. That's what we are questioning. Why this God? Why brutality? Why did it have to come in the ways that it did? Africans were converted into Christianity through colonization and slavery. China is slowly having Christians. There are Christians in China. There are Christians in Malaysia. But they didn't have to go through colonization and slavery for them to convert. So why Africa? Why did Africa have to go through that brutality to be converted? And there are so many other nations that have been converted without any violence. So why us? And that is why we say that we are the richest and yet we're still the poorest. We have all the resources and still remain poor. And they did a number on our minds. The colonizer is gone, but colonization is still here because we still feel inferior in ourselves, in the identity, in our languages. We don't want to speak our languages because we don't want to speak with the accent. That's why I like people like Chimamanda, and I even like the Nigerians. The Nigerians, where they go, you just know this is a Nigerian. No matter how many years they stay abroad, they maintain, unless those who are
that is good.
they maintain their names, they maintain but also most of them also very dangerously indoctrinated. But and our identity, our language, our hair, our culture is culture static? No, it can always change.
But it's dynamic. It keeps changing from time
it keeps
to time.
changing. So And I think so those conversations are very pertinent that we need to have. We are not deconstructing because we are saying we don't want a God. We're just saying this version that we were told, it does not
the God that actually represents.
It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. And it's because we are in the season where we are allowed to question. And anything that cannot be questioned is dangerous. Everything, question African spirituality, question Christianity, question Islam, question education, question your president, question your mother, question everything. Because if anything is secure, it will not have a problem with being questioned. It will provide the sufficient answers. But why are you so afraid of being questioned? Because you know that you don't have sufficient answers. You're always switching the goalposts. And you also know that the foundation that has been built is very weak. And that is why Africans have got it's called split spirituality. Africans have split spirituality. We practice our own spirituality, then we also practice the Christianity or Islam that we have been given. That is why when you get married, first of all, you do nyombo. Then you go to church. Why?
No, it's a mixture.
It's a mixture. So we are confused.
So you will either choose to do one.
Choose to do one.
Yeah.
But it's because no matter what we do, we cannot go away from ourselves. We find it difficult to go away from ourselves. We always, but now we are split. So we have to do the koito before we do the wedding. We have to do the ratio before we can do the main wedding. And even when someone dies, if I was to die today, let me tell you, my grandmother, my only grandmother that is alive, is a staunch Quaker. But I tell you, if I die today and my grandmother steps in that burial site, she will not shake hands with my husband at the time or my baby daddy, whatever.
She will stand where
she will do it. Nobody will tell her.
Yes.
She will do it herself. Because she's practicing both Christianity and culture. And our way of life, because she's like, oh, if I shake hands with him, what will happen if I go next to the grave? She's not married, so we have to get her through the window, or I don't know where. We have to carry bags so that you see, she was not married. All those things that we do, we still practice them today. Dowry, we still do it today. Yeah. So we are cherry picking. We are very much cherry picking, and it's because we are confused as Africa, and that is why Africans are. There's no people in this world who are confused about their spirituality. Eastern people are all confused about their spirituality. Their women have things they do when someone gives birth. They know this is what we do. This is where we go. These are the dances we have. Ask an African, they don't have it. They don't know. Yeah, ask African women. So what do you do when a child is born? When a child is born, what happened? We bring Pampers. We copy everything. We copy everything from the West. Oh, we have seen people, the Western people, the white people, when someone gives birth, what do we bring? We bring diapers, we bring socks, we bring what? But what did our mothers used to do when you had a child? The first thing was to surround you with warmth, with the ujis, with the fruits, with everything. So we make you giving birth as a way for you to give us a party.
Yes.
Yes, throw us a party. You that is about to give birth. We make someone who's supposed to give birth about us.
Give them another ability
you have
again.
A theme, wear blue. I don't know, come with this, that, and that. It's not about the mother, it's not about the child, it's not about the emotional state.
Yes.
So that is why you have someone who was thrown a very good big party, or I don't know, opening gift or bathing gift or something of the sort, but she goes into postpartum immediately.
Yeah.
So you had all these flamboyant whatever things about you giving birth, but immediately you went into postpartum depression. Because we don't know how to take care of a woman in the way that we were taught, one. Number two, I want to tell you something.
Yes.
You cannot run away from your blood and who you are.
You can't.
You can't.
Obama came.
Those things.
Can you remember Obama came?
Yes. And he came to the motherland.
Yes.
And those things that were practiced by your ancestors 100 years ago are still following you in your blood.
To this day.
That is why there are some people, when they give birth, they will dream a snake came to them with a message. And like, why did a snake come to me with a message when I was pregnant? Why did I see a lion when I was pregnant in my dreams? Yes, because you're coming from the people whose totems was lions, and they had veneration for lions. So it is following you and you don't know. And you see, that thing does not care. Even gifts do not care whether or not you are aware of your spirituality or your Africanness or not. They don't care. They will just follow you. They will torment you. You will not know what to do. And because you are unaware of what you're supposed to do, you will keep on praying against something that has been put inside of you to be for you.
You might be a seer.
Yes.
Maybe coming from a lineage of seers.
Yes.
Yes, and now you are feeling like...
Now you're feeling like, I need to go and be prayed for this, because when I stand next to people, I can feel good things are about to happen to them, or bad things are about to happen to them, and I don't know. Now you have carried that thing. Instead of knowing how to deal with it, it will torment you.
Yeah,
and even if you don't use that gift, if it is meant to flow in the bloodline, it will still find someone else.
Yes, indeed.
And that is how we have even people who, if today I was a seer,
yes,
you see, this gift doesn't care whether I'm Muslim or not. So I can just open a church and start saying that, you know what, I can prophesy. So you come to me and I prophesy to you and things happen and you say, Nangami is a prophet, God speaks to her, Jesus speaks to her. Yeah, I will use the camouflage of the day.
Yes.
To practice my gift. So I can say, and I can make a lot of money. People will be coming to me, and true to form, I'll be able to interpret things for them. I'll be able to see things for them. And they will say, yeah, it's God, it's Jesus. And it's okay. As long as the gift is being exercised, it doesn't care. So I can say, and that is why you have these people who say, I usually tell this, I was saying this to a relative. I said this to them, you see, when women know this, when they have a problem with their relationship, most of the time they would go, I went to a certain spiritualist or certain prayer, certain man, he's not a pastor, but he can see. So I went and he told me, you're supposed to marry this guy, or you're not supposed to marry this guy, or your relationship is going because of ABCD, your family is going because of it. He prayed for me. That guy is a diviner. That woman is practicing divination. So because they cannot tell you it is divination, what are they going to tell you? That they are praying for you. But look at what they ask. They ask that, when you come, the next time when you come with 9,000 shillings, but make sure you come with a handkerchief.
Yes.
Your own handkerchief that you have used.
Yes.
Or when you're coming, just make sure you come with your child's photo, or you come with the man's photo, come with something from the... And they say, no, we are going to pray for this. It's divination.
That's divination.
But they're not going
African divination.
Yes, it's divination. But they're not going to tell you it's divination. So they're going to do, I'm praying, I'm doing this thing. And you can tell they're not a pastor, they don't have a church. It's divination. But they know that in the current dispensation, you cannot say divination, because divination has been preached against in the Bible. So they will use the language of the day to get the gift to do its job. And the gift will do its job regardless. So that is why there are certain people, and even when people go to, I say when people go to church and you have a miracle service and there's a pastor they come with spirits. That's why we say, this most of these pastors, they say, I went to the mountain.
Yes.
I prayed for 7 days. And they went to people like our workers. The people who work, in African spirituality, they came to a diviner, they came to something, and they told them, if you want to have more people in your church, do A, B, C, D. That's why we used to have a series of pastors going to Nigeria. Then they go and they come back, and all of a sudden they have people, they are doing things. And they were told, when you come, you bring ABCD. Take this money, go and throw it on the road. Or take this thing, go and put it in the water. And then do this. And then they come and they say, I went and prayed for 7 days. God spoke to me. I fasted. God has revealed. And deep down, they know they're not doing shit.
Yes.
They're accessing. And you see, they will not be strict. The thunder will not strike them on that pulpit. These people know the truth. That is why even the what's it called? The clergy of the Catholic Church.
Yes.
They have abused boys for years. And they're still conducting mass. And they're still vying for popeship. There's no thunder that is striking them.
Maybe when time comes, they're going to hell. But why do you think that Africans defend these colonialism as in what's up with Africans?
It's the indoctrination, because that's the only thing that Africans have known. And when someone has known something for too long and then you want to come and take it from them and they don't know anything else, they are going to fight for what they know, for the only thing that they know. But it's a good thing. For me, I usually say that this is the return of the ancestors. So that is why you see, this questioning and deconstruction is not happening in Kenya only.
It's happening widespread across the world.
Across the world,
Yes.
but even more so across Africa.
Yes.
And it's because the current people have gotten to a place where they can question without the fear or the shame.
Okay.
Most of us will tell you, even the people who are watching us will tell you that they questioned so many things when they're young. Even you, I'm so sure there are so many things you questioned when you're young. But there was that fear of you cannot question God.
Kama hiyo kunguni iliingia kwa the ark. Unajua they were entering 2 by 2. So I don't know how bedbugs ended up in the ark.
Yes.
We have a very good opportunity of killing all these bedbugs. Yes. Okay, now I want you to give me 5 points that you disagree with about the Bible.
5 things I disagree with the Bible.
Point number 1.
I don't
just
know
explain it deeply.
I don't know if I can say disagree, but maybe, I don't know. You're saying disagree.
Okay, you depart.
Yes. First, obviously, it's the creation.
How? We were created, all of us, the image of God.
Creation, sorry. And you see, that is false. People are not created. People are born.
But I read the first one.
Were you created or were you born?
Personally, I was born, but yes. Adam was created.
Do you know Adam?
I heard of him in the Bible.
In the Bible?
Yes.
Anybody else who has talked of Adam apart from the Bible, which is Israeli story? Anybody else who has written, secular writer?
Yes.
That has written about, like, are all religions agreeing that the first man to be created is Adam? All spiritual practices, are they agreeing that the first person to be created is Adam?
I don't think so.
So why do you think Adam is the legitimate story?
Because the Bible says so.
Yes. Because that's the only answer you can give. Because you don't know. You see? And that usually is the point of acceptance, that I don't know.
So and from the African spirituality, where do we come from?
We don't know. There's no system that has been able to explain where we come.
Okay.
We don't know. And that's a complete answer. Science still cannot tell us with conclusion where we come from. They're giving theories.
So they're speculating that probably maybe a million years ago, maybe this and this happened.
Big Bang, the first person could have been a black woman, because humanity starts in Africa, you know. Yeah, it's speculation.
Yes.
And in the day of today, it's good to say that I speculate, I think, than saying with certainty. And then when you ask, present the fact, you give us a book.
Yes.
You give us a book that does not, you see, something that is, I said this, the sun. The sun that is here in Africa is the same sun that is in Antarctica. True or false?
Yeah, all of us agree on that.
All of us agree that the sky is blue.
There is no dispute.
Yes, you go to America, the sky is blue.
Yes.
You come to Africa, the sky is blue. You go to Asia, the sky is blue. It's the same. We agree on this thing. So why can't we agree on who the first man is?
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't agree because we don't know. We don't know. People are not created. People are born.
That's according to now.
People are born. You are born. You are born. You are not created. You are born.
Oh, no, for me and probably you,
yes,
all of us agree
that
we were born.
Yes.
But we don't agree that Adam was born Maybe Adam was created, probably. Adam
maybe
and
was
Eve.
created, or even
Maybe
there
not.
could be a chance that why can't we go with the science that they morphed? That it was one species that slowly graduated into and became. That is a possibility because we don't know.
Within this period, they haven't.
Yes,
been
we
able
have
to
had
mutate
all
something
this
else?
Homo erectus, Homo habilis, Homo until we get to Homo sapien.
Yes.
Sindio? Why can't we grow with that?
Because
you see,
of the weaknesses of that
does not
theory.
put you at the center of life. Because human beings are having all these self-righteous because it puts them at the center of creation. Because if you say you evolved, it does not put you at the center. Like
it means that as you're evolving, other things are also evolving.
Yes, there are
probably
other
the
things.
mountains were not mountains the way they look like, and probably even plantations never used to look like that.
Yes.
They're also evolving. Everything else is evolving.
Is evolving. So that means that you're not the center. Because you see, religion puts human beings at the center.
It gives us that kind of high importance.
Yes, of importance that we are superior.
But don't you think we are? Because
this.
we're intelligent?
The thing that made me understand why we are not is Copernicus. For the longest time, people used to say that the earth was the center. That is why we say God created heaven and earth. Because of our bigotry and our sense of self-importance, we just think that, it's just the sky there, God, and with us.
And us, yeah. I think that's, by the way,
and then Copernicus comes with the telescope.
Yes. And discover that it goes beyond.
And astronomy, not astrology, astronomy. And Copernicus comes with the telescope, and not him, but also the other scientists. It's a whole shebang, but I'll just go refer to Copernicus. And they look up and they realize, we are not the only thing out here. We are not the only ones who are created like that. Is why the Bible says God created heaven and earth. It was written by people who had no concept of science. That is why they say that
in short,
Jesus
they only knew
in the skies.
whatever
in the
they
skies
knew.
Here, anybody who has gone on a plane, you realize that there's a sky above the sky. So which sky? People who had no concept of aeroplanes and the rest of it to understand.
Spacecrafts.
Yes, and that is why they would say that a man would go into heaven on a lion, a
chariot,
horse.
On a
Horse on fire, I don't know the rest of it. Yeah, those things are just useless. That is why they say that cameras evolved and miracles disappeared. Because these miracles are not happening anymore.
The internet is actually that we did a miracle somewhere there, and we are now already questioning it here.
Yes, why can't we see these people who have been called to do these miracles and can be captured live? We can be able to capture them in real time. Someone being
and you see
spit
now,
out by an
we can be able to zoom and now rewind. How did that happen?
How did that happen? So you see some of these questions that we have, and even when it comes to just beginning with the creation story, there are two creation stories. Anybody who has dug deep into scholar work or scholarship work about the Bible will tell you that yes, there are two creation stories. That's why the first creation story, which they say that the one who creates in Genesis 1 and the one who creates in Genesis 2 are two gods. Genesis 1 is done by El, Genesis 2 is created by Yahweh. And that is why the preachers rely on Genesis 2. Because on Genesis 2, God creates woman out of the rib of a man. But Genesis 1, God creates man and woman equal.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So there are two definitions. But sasa unajua with the patriarchy, they're like, woman come from the man's rib.
Yes.
But there are two creation accounts.
You don't want to come from my rib. I can see you. You don't want to come from my rib.
And then in Genesis
anyway,
1, in Genesis 1, I think it is where God creates man and then creates everything else, vegetation and animals. In Genesis 2, God creates animals, then finishes up with man on day 6. Yes. Sure. So there are different accounts. So you see, even when you begin with questioning that, you're like, what is happening? And that is why so many people now who are reading scholarly work will tell you that there are so many gods in the scriptures. It's not just one God. There's so many gods, hence the showdown. So obviously for me, I have the question with the creation story. I have a question with how human beings are created, because we have never seen it happen anymore. And that's why people have always questioned, if Adam was the first person to be created, did he have a navel or not? And nobody's able to answer that. Who has ever answered that he had a navel? Did he have a navel or not? Number 2,
he might have been just flat.
Yes. Was he flat or not? If you tell us that, then you will know. Because if he had a navel, then that means he was born. Yes. 2, Eve. Why doesn't God create human beings? He only creates Adam and Eve, and then Eve gives birth. The children of Adam and Eve were born. They were never created.
Yes.
Eve got pregnant and gave birth.
Yes.
To the two of them.
Yes.
Yes. At this point, we have 4 human beings in the world. Sindio? These 2 people have sinned. Where you murder someone, we expect that we can even be lenient and forgive you. But these people who are operating with the brain of a child, they had no difference between good and bad. They just eat from a tree out of curiosity. They are kicked out and never forgiven. Up until today.
Yes.
They've never been forgiven.
One fruit.
One fruit.
Yes.
One sin. Never forgiven. Jesus had to die for that one
And now
sin.
kids have to be born through all with cancer and all that.
And
Yes.
some people say, Mungu asa forgivingi muto. Mungu forgivingi. If the first people on the
They were here
planet
the
were
first
not,
time.
the first people on the planet were never given lenience. They were never given a second chance to redeem themselves.
Unasema tu wenyewe nyinyi najua nimewambia msikule kitu
Na
I'm seeing you guys have eaten this thing.
And then
Stop this and stop this.
And then
don't eat it again.
There are 4 people on the planet. Why is God interested in offering? Why is Abel and Cain giving him offering? For what? That they end up killing another and God favors the offering ya Abel. Like alianza favoritism tu tangu kitambo. Alifavor ya Abel. That is why Cain killed Abel.
Hiyo mambo Israel na Lebanon na Palestinians.
Yeah.
Ilianza tu zamani.
So you see people question that. Now is that the modus operandi of God? Absolutely not. But is it how it is portrayed in the book? No, that's how people begin to question. Because now it begins to ask the question. Even the story of Job. We were discussing the story of Job.
Yeah.
Job had the kids burnt in a fire. Number 1. Number 2, the sheep, how the cattle of Job are disappearing or are being destroyed. They are destroyed with the shepherds. Like when you walikuwa wanachunga hizo animals pia walidedi kwa hiyo story.
Collateral
damage. Did they have to die? They had families. Did they have to?
The Bible does not put that into consideration, that how the family actually feels through this. And now after Job wins all the temptations,
everything.
What happens to these shepherds? What happens to the kids families who dies?
Yes.
What happens to all of them?
And that is why
the Bible does not consider
that is why they are called narratives. They were written by authors. The authors are writing stories with an agenda in mind. Unaona nile unaandika ni kama uko na, it's called what? Moral of the story. So maybe they did not expect this thing to live all this. Yes. All the this people who are writing the Bible did not know that it's good. The people who are writing the different manuscripts did not know that it was going to end up into something called a Bible. Yeah. That is why the Bible is written. Can you imagine you have a book this big, but the history of this book is 1,500 years. Do you think all that history is going to fit in a book this small? That means there has been a lot of editing, a lot of reduction. A lot of reduction. That is why they say, there are books that did not qualify. Why didn't those books don't qualify in that book? It should have been raw. Yes, by the way. It should have been raw. Yeah. But because there was an agenda, there was an agenda to portray that this is what we are gearing to. Anything that does not match what we are expecting to be our agenda, remove it. Okay. Remove it. And that is why we talk about the imperial Christianity that people practice, which is basically the version of Rome. Yes. Of the Roman Empire. That is why you have Christmas. You have this pagan. Easter. Worshipping is on Sundays. Yes, this pagan, Easter and all that. Yes, this because now we also have the Sabbath day. And sasa hapo siguze hapo. Unajua Sabbath day, wewe mtu ya 7th day hapana jaribu, wewe. But you see, even Christianity, they cannot agree. Christianity itself cannot agree. They don't agree among themselves. They cannot even agree on the day of worship. Now, let us talk about the histories of how these things are coming to action. You need to say Salvation Army. Salvation Army ilianza. It was a church for the soldiers. Sindio, this is how the soldiers used to barracks. Barracks. That is why it is called the Salvation Army, and they do these things to do with the military. Wana machingi, sijui band and whatnot. Okay, somehow when I see them on the street, and sometimes I see it looks so comic at times. Yeah. It resonated from that. That's why they are sijui soldiers of the Lord. It resonated from what? Military. From the military understanding of it. When you go to Mormonism. Yes. When you understand how it started, the history is so bad against Africans. I don't even understand why we have people who are in the Church of Jesus Christ and the Latter-day Saints. Because you see the history behind it. That is why the devil is black. Do you know why the devil is black? Because no, the devil is the devil
God
was
is
cast
white,
out, went and was burnt, and that's why he looked like that. And then he had children, and his children are Africans.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's why he's black.
yeah.
Zacchaeus abnormal.
Yeah, he was sent to hell, burnt, ended up having children across the world. When you listen to the story of Nini, it is dark. Yeah,
So
and it had a lot of white supremacy into it. Aya, tukuje kwa SDA.
Yes, DA unajua pale Sabato Mungu mwenyewe aliweza kupumzika siku ya Sabato. Tafadhali.
Let us not go into the history. Let us not go into the history of how SDA comes about.
But SDA pale.
SCK, why is SCK drifting from Catholic Church? Because the priests wanted to do what? Or those guys wanted to do what? To have the ability to marry.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
SCK, what happened?
It's a marriage.
It was the marriage.
Yeah.
So it was something just about libido.
Sasa
okay.
nini. Sasa that is why you see they have like they operate. Is it SCK? Yeah. Is it Anglican? They operate almost
Anglican
similar to the Catholic, but now you can see that person is a bishop but is married.
Okay.
And obviously the people who came around it, I don't want to get into it's a whole statement. I don't want to get into the all of it, but yes, that is also part of it. These people were drifting on fundamentals. People want to do this, and then there was a time when even the Catholic Church, they wanted to be allowed to marry, and the rest of it was a conversation. So yeah, you see, it has nothing to do with Jesus. It's just people and changing things the way culture changes. And you see, religion has advanced and morphed over time. Was it just 10 years ago? Oh, the internet was demonic, it was devilish.
Yes.
Corona ikakuja, mapasta wakakuja kwa internet. Wakaanza kupreachia kwa internet. Oh, trousers are bad. If you wear trousers, nini siku hizi we see female pastors on the pulpit na trousers.
Na kuna wengine unajua wanahubiri mpaka tunafanya kichwa namna hii. Concentration inapotea sana. Unaangalia hivi unasema sasa hapa sijui huduma hii huduma kama itaisha salama hii.
Yes, and then preaching was very formal. We used to have hymns. Tukaona hizo hymns ziko bora.
Haibambi.
Watu wakuja na Pentecostal sasa. Tu dance hiyo yetu yenye tunataka tupige ngoma, tufanye nini, tulete hiyo yetu, tulete roho.
Because ya kusimama na kuimba gospel.
Ya kusimama na kuimba hymns haibambi. So people are just changing things as they go along.
You did creation. Number 2.
No, I think I've talked about 3 things. Creation, yes. Creation, number 1. And in the creation itself, how people are created. That's why we asked, did Adam have a navel? And why is it that God cannot create the 4 people in the world now? Obviously, now it is Eve who was punished to having children.
But anyway, even in this creation, let me ask. Let's example, Cain never killed Abel. If Adam and Eve did not continue to, how were they supposed to? Yes. 3 men, 1 woman.
3 men, 1 woman, and then how do they marry? So that is why people question the creation story. So we don't get the full story.
Incest,
did God create just Adam and Eve?
Pale kuna incest.
Yes. Did God just create Adam and Eve? And were there 2 children, only Abel and Cain? But we hear that, I don't know,
there were more.
Eve ended up having 60 children. She ended up having other 60 children. But it's not included.
By the time Eve anakufa alikuwa amechapa sana.
Alikuwa amezaa.
60.
And then people ask, so how did this
pale hakuna hata bio oil ya kushughulika na zile stretch marks. Hakuna kabisa pale. So Eve alikufa.
And that is why we question.
And she should be recognized as a hero.
She would never. In fact, Eve is condemned for the sins of the world, because we say if she didn't eat the fruit, then we wouldn't have gotten here. And the question becomes, no, but you say the man was the leader. He had all the rights to refuse. He was the leader. Why didn't he refuse? So we know who the leader is. Who was the leader? Because why did he follow? He was a follower. Because why didn't he say no? Me as the first person who was created above you, I refuse to eat of the fruit. I will not eat it with you. You eat alone. I will not eat.
Yes, then I'm going to
plead. I'm waiting for God to come so that I can report you.
No, just to plead to God to forgive you, because you've erred a little bit here.
Or take the fruit and throw it away. So why did he
follow? Nyoka kabisa mbia. Na wewe sikuone hapa karibu tena.
Can you imagine? And he didn't even have to do a lot of convincing. She just came and said, I've eaten this fruit. Can you try it? And he tried it like a mumu.
Hi, babe. Babe, there's some fruits here.
Yeah, because of how we are told of the story. So who was the leader? Who was the leader?
The leader was Adam. Okay, so the number 2?
So that is the question, and obviously, then the other thing that raises question is the Noah's Ark.
Or about the bedbugs. The bedbugs.
We have barely gone past 4 people, and people have sinned 3 times. First of all, the devil is the first sinner.
Yes, who is actually
he sins and is thrown out of heaven.
But seems like God loves the devil so much. He never, because look here, you can kill all these people, thousands and thousands of people, but just spare this one. Yet this one is the one that's causing all. You know how much the US spent to deal with Osama bin Laden? You never went for all those other terrorists. The master.
They went for the head.
Yeah.
They did not want to go for, because if you want to destroy the whole organization, you go for the head.
They're just going for the head.
Yes. So why can't, if all of us have not to go to hell, just go for the head. Let's go for the devil. But at the time we have 4 people, the world has sinned 3 times. The devil sinned in heaven, is thrown to earth. Which we question. Why would you not throw him to Pluto? And throw him to the very earth that you're going to create your children and put them there with your nemesis. That is number 1. Number 2, the second time the sin is happening, Adam and Eve, they are sinning. They're eating the fruit. The third time it is happening again, murder. Cain and Abel. So we are asking, huyo creator huyo, tuko kwa watu 4 na watu wamefall 3 times already. Things have fallen apart.
That should tell us about the creator. Those are good statistics.
Then that tells us, it raises these incredible questions. And then we come to the destruction of the world now with Noah. And Noah is destroyed, and he and his only family are the one who are left. And still sin find its way into the world. So killing all those people was for what? It was meaningless. Why would you kill the entire world and still sin found its? Sisi iko kazi bure.
Angechamaliza tunayo dhambi tu.
Tunayo sasa, because killing everyone in the world.
So I think this narrative, because you see, me personally, I believe of a very, very supreme being.
Yes.
Called God. God never plays these games.
Yes.
Okay, how I believe it. I don't know how you can sit there and say that all of us actually being killed for a software problem. Remember, we are hardwares. These are software problem. I think God just could have sorted out the software problem, and eventually we have stronger intellects to identify even the devil.
Yes, and those are the questions now that deconstructors are asking. Very pertinent question. They are not questioning God. They are questioning the version of God that has been presented. Because the stories we've been given are not adding up.
Yes.
That's the whole thing.
So now, as we conclude, I just want you to tell me about Esther in the Bible.
The story of Esther.
Yes.
The story of Esther, for me, how I see it and how I read it. You see, when I was deconstructing, I had to go and read Esther myself.
You had to go and read that?
I had to go and read it plain the way it is on text, as it is. Because you see, people usually say, oh, unless you are filled with the Spirit, you will not know. Then this is an elitist religion. It is very elitist. That means that you require so many levels for you to understand spirituality. It's not obvious.
Okay.
So when I read the book, from Esther from the beginning to the end. First of all, there's no woman who writes the Bible.
Yes.
No woman. Ruth is not written by Ruth. Esther is not written by Esther.
So they're not giving their own stories.
They're not giving their own stories. Yeah. So we understand when the historians write the story of the lion.
Instead of the lion coming to write his own story, that your gazelle, as much as I caught it, that was not my intention. Yeah, if it's a lion, he'll give you the right account.
Yes, and even the gazelle itself. Yeah, the gazelle can tell you, no, actually for me, I was the slowest gazelle. I was the baby gazelle and I was eaten. But the lion will say that it ran after the gazelle, it was very fast, it was very powerful, it was hungry. You know that story of I started with a grain of rice and built a restaurant.
Motivational speakers.
So that's how the lion will tell its history or its story. And we never get to hear the story of the gazelle. And that is why most of us have a problem with Christianity, because it gives only the winning story of Israel. It does not give the story, the accounts of the other people that Israel fucked up. It doesn't give their side of the story. Those people who they went and invaded and took their children and killed their men, and they're just telling us, oh, God had sent us to go and deal with them because they were sinners. We don't get to hear their side of the story to say, were we sinners really? Was it a matter of principle? Was it? No, we just get the victor writing the story. And because Israel is very good at documenting, we are taking the story for the truth. So the same thing for me, I see it with the story of Esther. Because first of all, it is obvious that Esther was pimped out by her own uncle. Can you imagine? Unasikia king ame get rid of the queen Vashti. Anaitana ma virgins. Na unaambia mtoto wako ati wewe enda pia ukuwe among wale virgins. King anakula ma virgins venye unasemanga wavulana wanakulanga avocado. Unafinya ukiwacha. That's what the king was doing to the virgins. So the virgins were going up to the king and coming back the next morning. What were they going to do? We all know what they were going to do. Esther went to see the king and came back the next day a queen. We are told that Esther was groomed for a whole week. She was being dipped in oils and whatnot. Ni mastyle deadly pia alikuwa na
tight, yani ya tight pale. Unajua pale anapotokelezea mtoto mdogo, hakuwa ile ilikuwa mchezo. Alikuwa anatokelezea pale hata king mwenyewe.
Yes, and if she was a virgin,
yes.
The story that we hear, if she was a virgin, chances are, chances are if she was a virgin also,
yes,
she was underage.
Yes.
So if she was underage, she was a young girl. So she had no ability to consent or not.
Yeah.
So we are seeing a whole king who's being given
small
underage girls. You see, when you begin to interrogate it,
if it were today, angekuwa kama Arkeli kule ndani. Angekuwa ndani kama Arkeli.
King is having access to underage girls. Okay, because even the story of Esther, people the scholars speculate she was around 15 years. So unaona mama mkubwa hapo amengangana, mimi ni Hadasa. I learned from Esther. How are you learning from a 15-year-old? How is a 15-year-old inspiring you? Wewe mtu mkubwa, mimi saizi, how can I sit and say that I get inspired? No matter how big that girl has done, a 15-year-old is still a child. That's a child. Okay, fine. She's introduced, she's going to see the king, she goes there at night, she comes back the next day, she's made queen. Okay, so she's made queen, she starts doing the thing. Then after some time, Mordecai comes to her and say, Haman, nini, all these things that Haman is planning to do for the Jewish people. They say we are going to go into a fast. Now, the Jews are fasting. Mordecai comes and says, by the way, unaishi fiti saizi, you're living well, but if you don't involve yourself in this, God will choose someone else. It was gaslighting. So Esther says, sawa basi, I will join my people and also fast and pray together. So she goes into what people call the Esther fast. And then we don't see sijui fire coming down to Haman after they do the fast. We don't see sijui the king going for Haman himself. Nothing. After the fast, the only thing that Esther has to do is to go and speak to the king and tell the king, by the way, Haman is about sijui to nini my people. And then the king is like, go and hang Haman. So all of that she had to do was so that she can have this soft voice to go and speak to the king so that he can. Couldn't that just happen to the king in his dream without having to pimp out this 15-year-old girl? Esther was not used for her brilliance. It was not because she had some powers. You see the way sijui kina Solomon were wise, kina sijui David was a man after God's heart and killed a lion. Samson killed a lion. I don't know who is this. Elijah would sijui send things. What was Esther's power? Tell me. Yes, what was Esther's power?
Her innocence.
Apart from her innocence. Or what is her claim to fame? Compared to the male counterparts, what's her claim to fame? The same thing I will ask you about Ruth. What is Ruth's claim to fame? She met Boaz and then she started this generation of Jesus Christ. She was just a baby machine. What is Mary's claim to fame? Apart from giving birth to the Messiah and she was a teenager? What is this that this God would use, the way he would send the men and give them an assignment and give them incredible powers? People will say, they will say judges like Deborah. Okay, what did Deborah do? That is similar. You can put Deborah and Elijah side by side and say, look, this is what happened. Whom do we have? When I ask the question that who does God speak to directly, people say Hagar. Hagar was spoken to directly because of what? I don't know the thing that she had done. People talk about Miriam. God spoke to Miriam directly. What did he speak to Miriam directly about? To punish her for the thing that I don't know her and the brother Aaron were doing, and to punish them. I think to say that is it that she would have leprosy. People talk about this guy's mama, Jacob and Esau, Rebecca. When God spoke to Rebecca, what was it? It was to answer her question that she was feeling incredible pain in her womb. And she asked, what is this pain? God said, it is 2 nations that are fighting inside of you. Yeah. So when I ask people, who did God speak to as a woman, and said the way he was speaking to David and Aid, even in the garden, God does not speak to Eve, not once. The only time God speaks to Eve is when he's giving her punishment. That's the first time. So
the woman is segregated from the beginning of the Bible.
There was no place God speaks to Eve until the time he's giving her punishment. Does not, even when they eat the fruit, he comes to Adam.
Just to tell her.
And you, woman, you will experience pain during childbirth. That it does not speak to her once to tell her, you are a very great person.
Maybe we think that maybe for this to be actually complete, he could have appeared to a woman once and tell them that you are a woman, understand your weaknesses. Some point, maybe even something like a devil through a snake might come through you away. And should that happen, this is the way to handle it. Then eventually, at least speak to, you're beautiful, I've created you a great creature.
Yes. Or even send her and say, my daughter, I'm sending you. Let the world know, the nations know that I, the God of Israel, has sent you.
Yes.
Where?
So women are used in the Bible.
Yes, the only time they are used is either to carry babies. Most of the time it was just to carry babies, and it was male children. There's no woman who was blessed with a powerful daughter.
Do you think that Job's wife somehow might have been justified to do whatever she did?
Yeah, she was justified to do, because you see now that you can view the Bible from an empathetic lens. You get to empathize with her. That she lost her children. She was, you see, when they have lost children, they have lost wealth, they have lost literally everything. Job's wife does not leave Job. We give it to her. Angekuwa mwanamke saisi angekuwa alienda.
Angekuwa njeri, angekuwa pale.
Angekuwa alienda. Angekuwa alienda. But even when this guy is having this disease, hii ugonjwa yenye imempata ajui ni nini, this woman takes care of him. She cooks for him. She attends to him. When people are coming to see Job, ni nani anashughulikia watu wamekuja kuona Job?
And in the Bible says that alikuwa na smell, yani, but that lady is there.
That lady is there. And
so Job was just dead or alive.
And she sees the husband going through all of this. She has her own trauma to deal with. She has lost children, 10 children.
Yes.
In one time. You can
one
imagine.
Go.
Wewe unaangalia
the trauma of one.
One. People lose one child and they never recover. They go into depression. Mtu hizi amka anamkanga akikojoa kwa bucket. Hata hizi pata nguvu ya kwenda kwa choo. I had a friend. She would wake up and pee on a bucket. The only time she empties that bucket ikija. She never, yani tulienda kumuona. The first thing we got there was to air that room, that house. Air that house. Kuna nuka. And someone mwenye amejifungia kwa room, so you are farting, hakuna place yenye hewa inaenda, you are sweating, you are sweating, you have not showered. So you can imagine after several days your place inanuka aje. Na mtu amekuwa anasusua hapo, hata hakuli, so that means they are not going for number 2. But the place is stinking. Na sasa people question, watu wanalianga kwa matanga, Mungu nilifanya nini, wacha hata mtoto akikufa, even a miscarriage, people don't recover from a miscarriage. A child that they did not even get to hold in their hands, it devastates them. It even breaks a marriage, because someone can go into a depression because they neglect their partner. They part. A child, most marriages usually break when a child dies. When a child dies, the chances of that marriage surviving are very minimal. It drifts people apart. Everyone is grieving differently. One is blaming this and the other. One child has died. Now 10. She has lost 10 and she has to be strong for her husband. Now her husband is going through the disease that he's going through. And she's the one who's taking care of him, taking care of the people who are coming to visit him. Because you can imagine back in the day, see, wame lose slaves, wame lose everyone. So she's the one who's cooking.
Yeah, she's doing all the chores.
Cleaning him.
All the chores.
She's the one who's cleaning him.
Yeah.
Taking care of him. But she has her own emotional burden to deal with.
All that
and then this guy
ignored.
wakes up and goes and sits at the sijui huko kwa barabara huko. You can imagine now even ile aibu. The embarrassment. So alikuwa anakaa huko kwa barabara, watu wanapita wakimwangalia kishangaa ni yule Job. Job akilia all these things. That's why when she comes and say curse this God and die, it's pain. It's her pain. Which
that was euthanasia, the easiest euthanasia of the time.
That is pain. And her pain is supposed to have been justified from a human perspective. But we are dealing with people who are not looking at the humanity of people. And that is why we can easily say that, oh, Moses walked into Canaan, that is the promised land. How can you walk into a land that is not bare? The land that they entered, that land, okay, scholars cannot clearly identify whether they killed the people there, but they went into a land that did not belong to them. It was not their land. There were people there. There was cattle there. There was things there that was going on there. And you never question. And that is why, even for us, when the white people came and invaded and felt like they needed to own this territory for the longest time until... Do you know why colonization ended? Colonization did not end because the British were so good to let us go, to get rid of colonization. It's because it was becoming expensive to maintain the colonies. Because people were fighting back and forth, and it was becoming expensive sending soldiers.
It was just becoming unreasonably expensive.
Yes, it was the countries were becoming very resistant. The resistance was rising, and Britain did not have enough resources to maintain it. So they surrendered. Na wakachoose mmoja wao akasema sawa sisi tunaenda, but tumwachagulia Kenyatta, tumwachagulia nani, huyu wabaki hapa. But they were still the puppet heads.
Yes.
The puppeteers, huko. They're still the ones who are the puppet masters. Yes, then they left us because they were sending armies, they were sending the governors to come and rule the different places, the courts, because they were everywhere. They're the ones who had government. They had like the prime minister here who was answering to the king, and then they had governors to different places. It was becoming expensive. They had to bring their families, they had to bring the police people who were in the prisons. So it's like running a government in different countries, which was that's how they left, and people were fighting. That's how they left. They did not leave at SG because God fought for us, and it's because also cumulatively now there are people who are standing against it. Even how South Africa became almost like the last country to fight to get their independence. It's because now other African states that had become free, they were making noise. In New York, uko wapi kina Malcolm X, who had been talking about apartheid in South Africa even before he died, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba. And even gearing towards the 90s now, it is countries like, I think the countries that stood with South Africa, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, those are the people who are making the most noise out there. Now sanctions were coming to the apartheid government. That's how now they had to call the people and say, who do we put as the face of this new government? They picked on Mandela. And at least the ANC,
even Mandela himself was still
the ANC had to choose, and I think they fronted Mandela. I don't know if they're the ones who picked Mandela, and that is why most of the time South Africans say that Nelson Mandela was a sellout. Like, he was the one who was picked by the government, but he did not like do much. But we can't get into that because we give it to him with the history of the day. He had to do what he needed to do. Yeah, exactly. So for me, such questions, so when we sit around, that is why people are able to question. Yes. And you see, the good thing about us as Africans, we have never said that gods fight for us. So when people say, oh, but why did your gods fight for you to win colonization? Why did our ancestors fight for us? They have never claimed sovereignty over the world or over the universe. They have never said that we are one all and be all. You're the ones who are making those claims that your God is powerful and everything. So your God, okay, fine, our gods did not save us, but neither did yours. Yeah, the one that you claim to be all powerful, all knowing, all benevolent, didn't do shit. The people who ended slavery were the fighters. We know of Haiti. Haiti is one of the countries that claim they also got the independence through what? African spirituality, voodoo, hoodoo, and the rest of it. Using their spiritual systems to hide, to fight. So how were you able to defeat them if you've already been cornered in terms of your spirituality? How are they able to converse with their gods when, first of all, the first thing that they came was to strip them of their spirituality? Yeah. So for me, the story of, to wind up on the story of Esther, Esther was pimped out, in my opinion, by her own uncle, then guilt-tripped into fasting and praying. And the only thing that they had to do was Esther's fast and praying. So did God need the fasting and praying for him to deliver the Jews? All those 8 days that Esther had to fight. So that is why people are asking, why is this God so narcissistic? Like, for you to get some help, you have to go through things. Like, the help doesn't come directly. It comes with conditions, terms and conditions. People are begging, people are praying, people are seeking, and that's why we say you're seeking that which does not want to be found. Human beings are seeking God, but gods don't want to be found. If God wanted to be found, he would have been found a long time ago. That's why we're seated here. People are seated in different places wanting to find this God. Who is the true God? If that God wanted to be found, it would have revealed itself by now. We would have had a consensus. But we are seeking what does not want to be found. So that is why people will remain with their own versions of God. The Muslims, let them remain with their own version of God. The Christians, let them remain with their own version of God. African spirituality, Hinduism, Buddhism, but the ultimate being is so powerful, it doesn't give a fuck. If you decide this camera is your God, worship it. You will see things that will happen to you. And the true God is not going to come and say, no, actually, I'm not in the cameras. Yeah. That's how powerful it is. It doesn't care. Is there a supreme divine creator? I think there is, but I don't think it is it has fragile an ego to want to show itself. You people, if you want to be in one religion that oppresses you for 2,000 years, it's fine. You will figure it out yourselves at the end of the day. 400 years of slavery, okay. Someone will have to stop it at some point. People stopped it. The Supreme, I think, did its creation, did its thing, it's handling other things. Can you imagine now when we used to think that the only planet we have is God created heaven and earth, only for us to come and find that, they're not the only thing that is out there. There's more than what you even know, what you can see. But even
500 galaxies.
Imagine. But as we sit here, we are so special that life revolves around us.
It's not true.
That we are so special that there's a being that is not bothered by all those galaxies. It's
but
just by this earth that has these tiny human beings that are so flawed. But that being is so concerned about us. Can you see the majesty, the mystery of the universe, the galaxies, the mystery of everything, the waters,
that
what is in the water?
In coordination and precision.
They act in precision. And alafu God atakuwa amekazana na sisi wenye we are very flawed. We can't even make a decision on whether we should eat fries or eat matumbo. Yes, and how limited we are on the sinking of all that is why if you die today, the universe doesn't flinch.
Life continues.
Doesn't change. If human beings decided, I always say this, if human beings decided to annihilate themselves, if we decide to kill each other, we can kill each other and this world will end. And others will rise. And a new species will rise. And it will continue. And then we become history. The people 100 years ago who thought they mattered. Even people like kina Henry Ford, kina JP Morgan, they mattered. They were the richest sizes kuna kina Elon Musk. They knew. Now walikuwa wanaringa hizo times za kutumia the horses and buggies. The chariots and the horses, and they were like the rich guys. And they used to ride those carriages. Now mama wamevaa hizo manguo mrefu. Walikuwa wanaona kuna nini mambo kai. Kinkaa juzi na Great Wall. You went to houses, people had Great Wall TVs. Mzee alikuwa na nini? Mzee alikuwa na
changing the channel was like
alafu mkienda kuwatch TV kwa wenyewe mnaambiwa mkae chini. Hakuna kukaa kwa vitambaa zao, vitu zimetandikwa vitambaa. Hakuna kukaa kwa vitambaa, unaingianga hivi polepole unakaa chini.
Unaanza Winja brings it out so well. Hizo mavitambaa.
Imagine. Alafu unaenda kuwatch hiyo TV yao. Wakikuja wakiangalia saa hizi tulifika sijui kwa mini OLED. TV.
Siku hizi bana ni 200 inches.
Imagine. Alafu hizi nyumba zenye watu tunaangalianga siku hizi sema wow, cheki hiyo nyumba design, sijui watu wameweka sijui marble, sijui wameweka these things in the house ilitwanga nini hizo
chandeliers.
Chandeliers, alafu sijui kuna hii roofing sijui wanaitanga, I've forgotten the name. Yes, gypsum. Watu wameweka gypsum. Do you know that 100 years from today watu wanakuwa wanaangalia hizo gypsum
You guys mlikuwa mnaweka kama vitu hizi.
Si kama hizi manyumba zile hapa South Bive ya kitambo, how they used to look like, they were like people who lived in some rich houses.
The Isa and who actually the people who occupied those areas.
Yes.
Or the elite of the
elite. That is how life
but one thing that I appreciate is that this studio still will be a marvel even some years to come.
It will. And it will. And it will serve its time, and then people will move. And that's how you realize how insignificant we are. But I think in the moment as we live, as human beings, because we have consciousness, we would like to think that we are bigger than what we are. And for us to make sense of life, we create so many things. We have ancestors and we have all of these things. And they help us maybe create better realities for ourselves, understand life, live better with others, and be able to dig deep into our abilities. And could they be things that are beyond what we can see? Absolutely. I believe that there could be things. I know, because I have gotten to that place where I know Not I believe, I know. I don't have facts.
Yes.
But I know that there are things beyond what we can see. But we just don't have the mental bandwidth, and we don't have the physical abilities to tell them as facts. So it is just my word against yours, or your word against mine. But I think by and large, we don't even have an understanding of what we are doing or what exists out there.
Or not even our purpose on earth. Maybe.
So we are just going.
Maybe our purpose is bigger than.
Yeah, it could be bigger. And the same way, for several years, there are women who believed their purpose was to be in the kitchen and giving birth. And the woman of today has a bigger purpose. They're in boardrooms. Even our great-grandmothers, if they were to wake up, they would be surprised. Angalia mango tunavaa, tumeweka matatu, tumefika 30 hatujaolewa.
Kwa hivyo watakushangaa sana wewe.
Watashangaa. Wanaweza shangaa sana. Alafu wanipate sijui ati nimefika ndio huyu na nimepita 35 na sijaolewa. Wewe
bado mtoto mdogo, hata kitovu hujapona bana. Mtoto mdogo.
Unaona watu 35 walikuwa wameanza kungoja wajukuu.
35 umemaliza hizo shughuli.
Because kama mtu alianza kuzaa at 16, by the time anafika 35 ameshika wajukuu. You know, so they'll be shocked to come and see that today women can have 2 kids, 1 child, go to work. They'll be surprised that you have planes. You know, you can go to another country in hours.
You can go there and live and travel to another country and still spend your night here.
And still and hata wataamka watakuwa na shanga, hii ni uchawi. Sisi tulikuwa tunaona watu kwa besheni. Kama maji unaona mtu.
Nyinyi mmeweka kijute bwana.
Mko hapa hivi unaweza ongea na watu.
Mmeweka kijute hapa mnaongea na mtu, nyinyi wacheni uchawi bwana.
Anaona wewe basi. You see? So so that is how I think by and large it's just the human beings who are going to discover one thing after the other, one thing after the other.
Yeah. Yes. So thank you so much, Nangami. It has been a great moment. And of course, you always deliver it with precision, more than anybody else could. And that's the reason as to why I'll continue to call you from time to time to have greater and greater conversations. Yeah. So, inshallah, Director, allow me to see you in the next video next time.